Okay. Everybody is paperwork to order for. Good to go.
Thank you.
Call the meeting to order. At 6:01, this is the Accounting and Finance Committee meeting in the Selectmen's Chambers for January 23rd at 6 p.m. Meeting is called to order at 6:02 p.m. As we have remote members, we will call voice, please.
Gerald Bazikas.
David Walker.
Carol Hofstas, Mary Jane Churchville.
Don Hayes.
Cam Grant.
Okay, we have 6 members present, and that is a quorum. We are good to continue. This meeting is being recorded for playback on Channel 9. It may be played live, and it is also uploaded to the YouTube channel. So all should be aware that it is recorded. Item 4, on the preliminary additions or deletions, what I would like to do is change, not a change other than, I would like to do the assessor before the treasurer today, so we're gonna go to, and swap, in work session 2, we're gonna swap. The treasurer and treasurer. Is there anything not brought to my attention that needs to be on the agenda tonight? Okay, no additions. We'll continue. Tonight's session, we are continuing our review of the departmental budget. We'll start with the assessor. Vicky, if you would, appreciate it.
I can go through and make a couple of questions I'll send to you.
Okay, so, okay, so I took my book. So is everybody have the assessor open?
It's a really big budget. Really big.
And still in the middle of the contract. Okay. Sorry, and yeah, that's been sent out, and has everybody reviewed the assessor's budget?
I have a question.
Not reviewed it.
Okay.
but-
It's not big.
No, it
It's
is.
really big.
Yeah.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
On the percent change, is that up or down, or do we have, or is it different? Are they all the same?
What do you mean?
So FY 25 to wait a minute,
Yeah, that's right.
it's 5.2% change. Increase, oh yeah, it's increase. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I don't have a negative sign for it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I get it.
How much is it, 5.2?
That looks like the treasurer.
Yeah.
collector.
I was gonna say, my.
Yeah, no.
Is it FY 25 or 26?
26.
It will be, we're doing FY 26s,
Yeah,
There's a heading.
so,
It's a year ahead.
We're in FY 25
Yeah.
now.
right. We're in
so
FY
the request is for FY 25?
No,
No,
26.
they're,
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's
so-
25.
Wait, we're looking at the treasurer one right now, not the assessor.
Oh,
So,
oh,
but
yeah, I
what-
got
Alright,
it.
then
Treasurer
what
slash
is it?
collector, right?
No, we're looking at the assessors, not the
Assessor.
treasurer.
Oh
treasurer.
my
I'm the
God, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, he switched it, he switched the
Yeah,
order
right,
on the. on the look-
okay.
Okay, so you couldn't answer, okay. Alright.
Okay.
All right, now I feel better. All right, link to
And I'm
salary.
not- Here it is, it's after the blue section, so that the blue tab is the first one after the blue tab.
Got it.
Account number 151. So you'll see here,
141,
141.
141,
141.
account number. So what we'll see here is we'll go back and talk to Melissa, but you're right. You see that the FY 25 column, that's what it was for the current year. And the FY 26 column is what it's gonna change to.
On the assessment, on the assessor.
On the
Yeah,
assessment,
yeah, okay, that's good.
but the same thing holds true for the collector that you saw. That was just a typo.
Okay,
It
so what
should-
is the
should have said
percentage on this?
FY 26 in the second.
I revised sheet for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, let's just
Okay.
do one.
Who's on first?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Uh,
Change the,
That- what-
what's your percentage?
there isn't,
Okay.
it was the wrong page, it was the wrong person.
Oh,
I was on the treasurer.
Yeah.
so-
So with this, it's kind of like, if we go to, do we want to review the summary page or the detail page? The summary just summarizes the information on the detail page, and so maybe we go to the detail page,
Sure.
Yes.
look at that, and then make sure, the other thing I would like to do is make sure that values carry through in formulas to the front page. So if we start with the labor sheet, which is labeled page
One,
one, but labor in the middle.
Yep.
oh, labor the
The
word,
worksheet is, the worksheet name is gonna be in the middle of the bottom. In the other way they have it set up.
okay, so you have wages,
Yeah, the wages, and you'll see.
do they go down? Oh, no, that's 8, I thought it was a 3.
Yeah, it's a little small, but,
A
yeah.
little, that's okay.
So,
So we're going with
we'll see.
63 instead of 68, right?
yeah,
Where are
yeah,
you?
we're gonna save somehow.
I thought that was a 3.
Oh, no, it's an
Yeah.
8.
No, it's an 8.
It's an 8.
It's an 8, and I will say that that percentage is 2%.
2%,
We don't have it in front of us. And we know that the recommendation had been 4%, 2% step, 2% for the annual raise, 2% COLA. So,
okay, let's talk about clothes. Clothes,
Yeah,
clothing allowance,
correct. New contracts.
I don't understand that.
Okay, certain positions in the unions will have clothing allowances. The
Oh.
assessors department is one of them. They go out and they do field surveys.
Oh, they have to wear an outfit or,
Clothes that you don't want,
Like boots and whatnot.
Work
yes, well,
boots.
oh, I
right.
see, okay.
Because they go out of the office.
yeah.
Oh, like field outfit.
Yeah.
kind of. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like, if
No,
you're a
no.
girl, you would say, what's with the clothes?
It's clothes. It recently increased, last year it increased from 600 to 825, and so we're
Okay.
still in the current contract at 825.
Okay, so that's good, and then what's longevity?
Because I've been here so long,
Ah,
Oh,
too long.
Yeah, so you'll see some longevity.
oh, I get it, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, a
Some
step,
of
yeah,
five.
like if you're a
5,000,
teacher and you
1,500
had
every-
bachelor and masters,
Mhm.
get it?
Yeah.
So longevity is based on years of service to the town. And you'll see some employees don't have them because they're relatively new, others have lower amounts. I have-
So is that like union requirements, is that part of the union?
No, that's
I
not
think
just union. We had it before we had a union.
I think that's state requirements
Oh.
or, yeah, so before the unions, we were still doing longevity. It just continues as
Okay,
at the same level.
that's good, now I know all that, that's very good.
Well, and that's a piece of all of this, questions.
No, we have to ask
And maybe I should be like,
Yeah, no, that's okay, good.
Well, I mean, yeah,
so, sorry,
okay, so that's.
So we have
that's
two
what I-
people in the department.
2 people in the
Yeah.
department. Yeah.
the administration assistant clerk.
Yeah.
She's getting her or he's getting his, they,
She-
yeah,
she's
they
getting her
2%
4%,
COLA?
yeah.
Okay.
Plus
2%, right?
It's kind of in, and as.
Oh, is this 1,000 longevity?
Yeah.
But it's not the same as yours.
No, because she hasn't been here as long.
Yeah.
I think it jumps up in increments of 5 years, I believe.
So why wouldn't
it's
that
different for
line,
each union, you guys, so,
Okay.
the
No, no,
Vicky's in one
Yeah,
union,
but no, clerical and supervisor is the same.
same amount?
Yeah, yeah.
so why wouldn't that say longevity instead of other?
Just because I didn't change the line item.
Okay.
So you gotta be specific with that, so we'll
Yeah,
know,
I just
know
like
nothing.
to, yeah,
Consistent.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's another, she's got her own field
So
outfit,
is that,
right?
Yeah.
so it's 2% and then the 2% again? Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's
2% for both
Okay.
COLA.
And
what,
They
yeah,
both have longevity, but they have different amounts because, and they both have clothing.
good for them.
Okay, so that's good. That's it? That's your budget?
that's,
No, that's the salary budget.
that's the
Oh.
salary, right, and Is she salary or is she?
No, she's hourly,
Hourly.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I don't know. if we-
And how many
Yeah.
hours does she work a
Okay.
week?
35.
35.
Does that allow her to have, like
Benefits?
insurance and benefits? Yeah, yeah.
20
Yeah,
hours
anything
is
over,
the, yeah,
20.
Cut off?
20 hours is the.
Yeah.
19 hours is the cutoff, 19 hours.
So how is
no
that
benefit.
calculated? Where does that come from? It's not per department?
It is not. Benefits are
Package?
packaged and usually covered. And we'll see that in the treasurer collectors. She has a lot of
Okay.
those. Health insurance is presented by the town administrator, so a little bit of both, but some.
Benefits are
they-
offered mass general law.
Right,
Gotcha.
so they're not, each department is not responsible for each piece. You don't see health insurance in here for, but
I see, yeah.
I think it's good for us to know that and maybe pass it on, that there are two, and we call them full-time equivalents, but there's also two full-time equivalent benefited positions. So as we go in each department, you may find, less benefit, you may have full-time equivalents, like the library, for instance. They have 7 or 8 or 10 part-time people, but it says full-time equivalent is 4.
Oh,
So
I
they
get
have
it, yeah.
We
Yeah.
4
Oh,
full-time
okay,
equivalents,
yeah.
but no benefited positions for that.
Got it, yeah.
Okay, so they have a formula for a full-time equivalent, like
So
how
that-
many?
FTE is full-time equivalent, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
that-
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm
So
good.
an FTE, whatever the job description is, so if a job is 35 hours a week or 40 hours a week, that's considered a 1.0 FTE. If a person is a half-time, then it's a 0.5.
5 FTE?
Yep.
And if it's a quarter time, then it's a
0.25.
0.4? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Based on one.
Yeah, I used to manage a workforce that was, we used to count them in tenths,
Oh, okay, yes.
down to the tenth
Well,
level,
we
yeah.
can do that division and you can have, 4.5. or-
Yeah,
You can have a-
yeah. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah, you're right, so a department could have a bunch of people and still only have,
One FTE.
Yeah.
People working.
yeah, yeah, okay, got it.
And none benefited, so that's why there's
Yeah.
a difference. And that at the end, that helps us calculate how many health insurance.
Do you get health
Yeah, we
insurance
got that.
through the state? How does that work? I'm just curious if there's a cost benefit, I mean, does the state have like a statewide for municipal
It's
employees?
For the town. The town goes out and gets insurance quotes and we
Bids.
insure.
Okay, it's not like they go to the state to be covered by the state,
Right, we don't do that.
no. Oh,
We
I
can discuss all that during the benefits
Yeah.
section.
yeah, okay,
Let's get out of here.
okay, all right, let's
Okay,
go.
so office supplies, paper.
Okay,
So
so,
I did add this one in here.
okay,
And I did do that. And I'll send it to
okay, so,
you. 'Cause you caught the FSA.
Yeah,
How did you
okay.
catch that?
we have copies of the BBA along with us, so, and, in the appropriate section, tax collector, yours is above it. We were comparing lines on the BBA to what was presented,
Mhm.
and there's a line in here that says, on the Board of Assessors on the BBA, it says other FSA, and it was not on,
I didn't put it in the budget, so
it wasn't.
I've
in the
included
budget.
it now and I'll send you guys an updated one.
Oh,
That's,
So,
that's a union benefit for, the person that works for me. It's like that, HSA, FSA, they put so much money on a card for
Oh,
her.
for the health.
Yeah.
Oh, the health
Yeah.
amendment.
Yeah.
Health-
Flexible spending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Oh,
flexible
yeah.
spending.
Are you saying that the town contributes to that? Because I know my wife's FSA, she contributes the money.
Her union, they get $250 if they choose to do
From-
FSA from the
right.
town.
from the town.
From the
Oh,
town, so that's-
Oh, okay, so that's a union.
But that's not on.
No, I forgot to
It's-
put it in, so I'm gonna give you guys an updated one, I'll send it to
Yes,
Dawn.
it's on the,
And we'll get
It's on
updated.
It's,
for the board.
she found it there.
I see it. So would it be on the wages sheet, on the labor
Yeah,
work?
That's where it should be,
Okay.
yeah.
And,
Under the assess, no, health or
Yeah.
health or
Yeah.
250.
Yeah.
Okay.
and they, let's see.
I want to ask a question about the software. That's not, no, that's software. That's not the copier, right? I'm on a
No.
copier. Thank
You're
you.
on the copier, that's gonna
Can't
be
wait.
later. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
copiers for me.
Okay, so, so that's just regular software required updates.
Well, yeah.
And
So
professional.
there's not a repair and maintenance line on your expense?
No.
Is that, so you're not planning on doing any maintenance next year?
Well, the only thing that we actually have in our office is our software.
Okay,
Everything else is completely supplied by the town
Yeah.
using
Oh,
software from the town, the Microsoft Office
Right.
licenses. All of that is covered in the IT, so each budget does not have their own IT budget.
okay.
It's a general IT budget for the whole town, which we'll find. under
Okay.
the-
oh, it
So,
is that.
so why is there repair and maintenance for last year then, for
Because,
this year?
because they were written up weird, like, so we just changed the titles. So this, the repair and maintenance now is the assessment software.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
One of the things that we did do in our reviews last year was notice that the descriptions weren't really telling us.
gotcha.
very
Yeah.
much.
Okay, so you just changed that line.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that forever, and I just left it like that until they questioned, I'm like, yeah, well, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
And, yeah.
Now, on the, training, are you required to, have certificate,
Yeah, I have a
certificate?
certification,
Okay.
and, right now, Jody, the administrative person, is taking classes so that she can take over for me when I retire.
Oh, I
Or at
see.
least that would be the game plan.
Right, we'll see training in several budgets along
Okay.
the way. A couple of years ago, we started a program, the town administrator came in and talked about, how we plan for future. It's kind of like Vicky is gonna join our ranks pretty soon, I would say.
So we have a succession plan.
We have a succession plan for several departments. Again, we have to be prepared.
Oh,
So
that's
in-
good
in-
move. Yeah,
In
yeah,
order
that's
to be
great.
prepared, we felt the town would support the employees by training them to
Right,
be able.
to move up the, yeah, that's
move up.
great. That's great.
Yeah, because it's so hard with municipal jobs now, you can't get anybody, there's nobody out there.
Yeah,
And if you've got an employee that's willing to commit to you and-
Right,
and take
which is
classes and- Yep.
good to know. Good to know.
So that's, we'll see that in a couple of budgets, but this is the first one we've run into it
And
here.
just what is professional services? Is that,
That's for MRPC, they do our map changes,
oh, okay.
Montezut Regional Plan.
Yeah, they do the mapping.
Oh, we know
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah, I know them. I do know
With the
them.
planning, yeah, there's
Well,
six exposure
well,
through the town.
Open Space and Recreation Committee. I wonder if that plan ever get approved by the state.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
so this year you have a dues and memberships line, but it's not in the budget for
Yeah,
next.
I added it in, when I
Okay.
send you guys an updated one. it'll be
Oh,
in
so we're gonna get it updated.
Yeah,
Right,
How much is
it's
that gonna
updated
be?
again,
How much is
comparing
that?
the BVA.
$400.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll stay the same as last
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
Right, exactly. When you look at it, you can see there was a difference that went down. And so, I started with counting the lines and, just real remedial stuff and say,
Yeah.
oh, there's 8 here and 7 here, or 7 and 6. And I said,
And this is the woman we let do math?
Yeah.
yeah,
"You just make it to our benefit for our tax bills.
yeah.
And we'll
So
look
the
at
only
it.
increase really is just in that software business.
Yeah, and it's going down by a little bit.
By a little bit, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
That's incredible.
how come it went down? That's,
Yeah.
Well,
I know, I see that.
because I usually estimate, a 5% increase, and I actually called them this year to find out ahead of time what they were gonna.
Good
Oh, okay.
move. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah,
Thank you.
because
It's-
we've been
Appreciate
finding
it.
these forecasting things are not working out well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we like the actual,
Mm,
Good.
nice.
and that's good.
That's-
Data
that was good.
verification down there, but that
Yeah,
isn't really.
but
Oh,
we'll,
yeah.
we'll mention it where it's here because, and if you would, talk to it because
Yeah.
I've been here and seen it before, but
Yeah.
we've got the 3 new.
So the data verification warrant article, once a year, we get money replenished in there because if we don't use it all, we can move it forward to the next fiscal year rather than having it as a line item in here. And it's to do the cyclical inspections. And so sometimes depending on the weather and that kind of thing, you don't get out, you don't use up all the money. and you can carry it forward. And then this past time when we had to do, we actually outsourced it, and we had built up enough in the line item, because you have to, every 10 years, everything's got to be looked at. That's mandated by the state.
Mhm.
And we just finished up. So we've got another 10 years to replenish to get ready to do it again.
Oh, okay.
So how did the outsourcing work versus the,
It was a lot quicker.
was it?
Because, yeah, well, yeah, because we had like 3 people from that company that went out and canvassed where it would just be me. We used to have somebody in-house that did it,
Oh, and
but
what
then
happened
they
to
got rid of that position. We couldn't find anybody because it wasn't enough hours. So then we kind of absorbed it, but then realized we didn't have time to do it all.
the two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we did have that one person, how was that salary versus outsourcing? I mean, how much more
Well, I
or
guess
less?
I'd have to go back and look.
Or just, I'm
um,
really just curious.
Yes, because you'd be paying that person every year.
Correct.
Like for the outsourcing, it was only 3 years.
Oh,
And
I
it was
see.
more money.
Of
It
course,
was
yeah,
only 3
but
years.
what, but the
I'll do a
balance of it.
cost thing on it to see.
So, oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, no, yep,
So this 8,000 for last year and 10,000 for this year, that's money that we're building up for the
Yeah.
next round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so so that's not reflected in your budget numbers up here, right?
no, but if you look on here, I believe it should show on it. Does it show on here?
It probably,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's this one, but it shows
Yeah,
up
it
as
shows
0.
Yeah. Oh, they must just not have put it in before they printed these out for you guys. Because it was short. Oh, no, I wouldn't be in there.
article annual assessment.
Yeah.
Is it a 001 account?
No, it's a 000, so it's kind of,
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
They moved it.
It's-
They moved it to, they changed the warrant articles, the last,
they're on the
last,
end,
yeah.
they were on the end of the sheet now instead of in the department.
Okay.
So if we had a full BVA,
Okay.
we
Okay.
see it on the end.
Oh, okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
So this is a warrant article, so does that mean this is something that has to get voted on at the special town meeting?
Not special town meeting, it gets voted on every year at the annual town meeting.
Okay, so this will have to get voted on?
Yep.
At
In May.
the May town
Yeah,
meeting?
yeah.
yeah, so that's,
Okay,
I wanted to, and we're dealing with warrant articles now, this is just gonna be another one, but it's for this annual review.
Yeah.
The review of the property so that we can.
So is the 10,000 that we're putting for FY 26, is that just a number that you pick or?
Well, we've got, along with the cyclicals, the state now mandates that our 504s are utilities, Unitil,
Mhm.
which is Unitil Gas and Unitil Electric. We used to be able to do our own appraisal on those. Now they make us outsource that. So it's $2,000 for, it's 2,000, so it's $4,000. So that's included in there. We have to pay it.
And the 10,000?
okay, so another state mandate, if they won't pay
Right,
for it.
exactly.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Matter of fact, we had 3, and one's Mass Electric, but it's such a small number, and I said I refuse to, because it's not even gonna bring in enough money to cover the $2,000 that I'd have to pay out for it, and they agreed.
So 2,000 of that, no, 4,000 of that
4,000 of that
is
is
state mandated.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course you don't get anything back from the state.
No, but we do get quite a bit of money from Unitil,
Yes. Okay.
and they take a lot of it.
Okay, that's pretty
Okay,
straightforward.
so,
Now, is that gonna change with this, the
Collect this
town,
new thing?
town
No.
electric?
It won't have anything to do with what, with our, no, for nothing personal property, no.
Okay,
I was gonna say, that's a rate piece on the electricity that travels the line,
Yeah,
everything else
yeah.
stays with Unitil, and owned by Unitil, so everything will stay, will continue to be Unitil. Okay, any further questions or?
so will the 10,000 get added to this?
No, the 10,000 will go into a warrant article line that's, I guess, at the end of the,
Okay,
It's at the end of the BBA, so.
right, so it's gonna stay at the end, it's not gonna get,
Right, and when we do them as articles, the money stays in the account and can travel across fiscal years.
right,
So we approve it now for FY 26. If we don't use it all, it's still there in FY 27, different than free cash. If we
Right.
put it into the budget and didn't use it, we'd have to wait for it to be certified before we could use it again. by having it in that budget, if Vicky needs it early in the year, in FY '26, it'll be there to be used.
And so is there any do we anticipate any carryover from this fiscal year?
Yeah,
How much do we think?
I wanna say, I think we probably have maybe 15,000 in there.
And then, and then within 10 years, we're basically going to spend that
Yep.
to do the survey.
Yeah, so I would say probably, I'm trying to think what our update was it for 24? So by 34, we have to have done it again, so probably when it gets to be like
32, 33.
29, 30, we'll start looking, because it takes a few years
Okay,
to do it.
and by then we'll have built up
Yeah.
a decent amount of money,
Right.
so that should cover that
Correct,
expense.
yeah,
And we won't have to go through a special town vote for that, because as long as we've been
yeah.
voting the articles year by year.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, so
okay.
we're trying to keep up with it with a little bit of a year,
Right.
putting into this account.
Because I think last time I wound up having to take money out of my overlay.
Yeah, see, and that's the piece, it's kind of like, and that gets to one of the reasons, I'll go back to the elections, we had a lot of elections last year. And we did the election fund, but we did a town article similar for that, so we put $22,000 in an election fund, so you could have level funded operating budgets, but pull from there when you had a year with a lot of elections. So this is similar to that, I just wanted people to see.
Oh, I see,
It happens
yeah.
across a few departments.
Okay.
That we do that kind of thing. Okay, and again, I just want to go back and touch on the 2%. Vicki told me that because she's at the top of the scale, there was no room to go more than the 2%, so I don't know what the rules are, but that seems like when you get to the top of the scale, you don't go beyond it.
You mean for salary
For
increase?
salary increases, yeah.
I mean, that's how the federal government works.
Yeah.
You bump up
But
against
see,
it.
some of the unions did it, so they fixed them, so I'm gonna go to my union, tell them I want to MUI, so I get the 4%, I shouldn't get 2 if everybody else get 4.
We can just give everybody else two.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that would be a good plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last
You
long.
get that, yeah,
So
You get the
does this cost of living thing happen every year?
yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
We'll see what the fund.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't do a cost of living, then your matrix is out of whack within 5 years.
And 2% isn't even the COLA for in general, it's,
Yeah.
should be based on the inflation rate, which I think it was 3.78 or something.
Depends on.
I know, but
what
it doesn't
you use.
take
Yeah,
into
If you wanna use the
consideration
word-
the situation financially of the
2.5.
town.
Right,
Yeah.
That's the part,
that's the part that,
it's very distressing,
Mm, yeah.
that it leaves out the people who are paying.
Mhm, right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay,
so I've never gotten a call.
I never did
I've been working over
either.
30 years, I've never gotten a call.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Oh, it's a tight year again. You get a.
Yeah, you're like you have a job, that's
But
why,
if
that's
you
why
like-
work,
you
if
have a
you work
job.
for the state or the federal government, you'll get a call.
Yeah.
We can change.
Those schools.
And Sam, I'm sorry, it's kind of like we've sort of left you out there. Kind of. Did you hear all the conversation?
Yes, I've been listening, on mute, but listening.
Okay, yep. I just wanted to see if you had any questions.
No, everything seems, you've got everything in there, all of you do, however many.
Okay, and I will mention it now. I'll get a book down to, we all have, very well put together binders. See if I can open it up for you.
Yeah,
And there's one with your name on it. I'll leave it with town clerk so you can stop in and pick it up.
so what, is it there now, be there in the morning?
Yeah, I'll leave it on the table by the office. And then,
That's it.
okay, I have a volunteer
All right, well,
to get it there for you.
thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sam. That way you don't have to print, you don't have to look at
Yeah.
all the files. They'll be in the book.
Thank you.
Okay, so this will,
Very nice.
in this review, there's gonna be a few changes and that should make a quick review in the future. We'll go with it. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for all your hard work.
Thank you.
What number is that on the BBA?
140.
141.
Oh, it's 141.
141. Sorry. And
I
now,
got it.
Melissa, treasurer,
Where's your tax?
treasurer, tax collector.
She's green. She's turquoise. This is FY 26.
And we have updates to our book, so it looks like Melissa has,
Oh,
If you could pass that there, and I'll pass 2 for your review, and then 2 for these 2 people.
Okay. We'll get one in the same, so.
thank you. 146.
That's right. There's your-
You can, I don't think any exceptions other than, in addition to the treasurer and collectors. And, we have other worksheets for the expense items and insurances, things like that she is responsible for the debt. Which is why I had her go second, because this may be a little longer.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a 4%er on the
Okay,
code.
good.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with, the treasurer and the tax collector are 2 separate positions. So there's 2 actually separate departments. So when you see at the top of the budget worksheet,
One,
which has now been corrected to say FY 26, 145 is our department code for treasurer, 146 is the department code for tax collector. However, one of the things that I'm going to make a comment is I really think that the omnibus and all of these spreadsheets that were sent out should have the GL account numbers attached to them. So I went in on my backup, plugged in my GL account numbers, because when you go and reference like the omnibus, line 82, and next year someone inserted a line, it's now line 83. You really guys, my recommendation is you should refer to the GL account numbers.
We have had that conversation.
Good.
We have to have that conversation with an additional party.
Yeah.
The town administrator.
Yeah, because the omnibus that is sent out and what is sent out to the department heads doesn't match the VPPs. So I went in and changed all of mine, just so you know. if mine
Which
was
is the
different.
GL numbers? Are that,
Yes,
that's
Yeah.
these?
yeah, general
Right.
ledger numbers.
Okay.
You got it.
oh,
So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
and-
see.
I will say, this group has seen the Excel output from the BBA. So we're able to export it to a file, and it's much easier to bring out. So, with the assistant treasurer's help, we can that is something,
Great, so, at any point, I could always, also send you guys the salary grid that is used for people's salaries, any other thing extra you need,
oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
That applies to other,
I can send it to Dawn,
Yeah.
and you can disseminate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
that'd be great. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Will do. All right, so, if you want to start with the first line on the cover sheet, salaries, that first one, is me.
Mhm.
And I am 4%. I'm on the grid, and I have a individual contract, a 3-year contract. I'm not in the union. So my contract just started, a second 3-year contract started January 3rd, 3-4 weeks ago. The second line, is an adjustment from your original because the $1,000 was up above, and that's why it said 5.2% in the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this $1,000 stipend is only for a treasurer or tax collector, and it's a mass general law, and I have it.
which we approved last year at town meeting.
Yep,
So
so,
there was no money impacting last year's budget because she wasn't certified yet. This year is the first year of certification.
Okay, so she's certified now, so it gets to increment.
Right, and we voted in the town, one of the town meetings last year, that we voted as a town to accept the mass general law as how we compensate our tax.
the assessors have it, the town clerk has it. So there's mass general laws that refer to, okay, if they get their certification for a town clerk, assessor, treasurer, tax collector, they should get an extra $1,000.
Is this a year or just when you get your
A year.
certification? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not increasing your salary, really? Does that get?
It's
No,
sort
I
of-
understand,
it
I mean,
is.
I'm sorry, it
Well,
doesn't impact the 4%.
No, it does not.
Okay.
So think of it in terms of,
A bonus.
a bonus and also, like I was trying to negotiate longevity and I'm not in a union, so I didn't get longevity. So kind of think of it as a replacement for
Okay.
longevity. So it takes 3 years to get a treasurer's certification, and it takes another 3 years to get a tax collector certification. The law says either or both, the max is 1,000. So I'm not getting so my 3 years will be, I can take the test in August.
But you won't get 1,000 for each certification, you'll get 1,000.
Oh, only for one certification.
If that makes you feel better.
Oh.
Giving me the money.
Oh,
I'm working hard for it.
okay, all right, I get it.
Training is, yeah.
Thank you.
Mass General law
Yeah,
requires
Puts up
this,
with me
and
a
we
lot.
voted for that.
yeah.
Yes, if you didn't vote yes, I mean,
Right,
I thanked everybody. Thank you. So that's the TC treasurer collector stipend for 1,000. That wasn't in 25 and now is in 26. The next line, the next line is wages, and that's really the staff, my staff. So that's 2 FTEs, full-time equivalencies. I have a assistant treasurer tax collector, and I have someone's in the clerical union, I don't know what this title is, department, something or other. Department assistant? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think he.
If I don't like it, I don't learn it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he was on the original
Yeah.
sheet.
So in the backup,
Yeah.
for salaries.
Yeah.
If you want to pull out the labor worksheet, it's called, I went through and did my own little backup, which includes their hourly rate, what grade and step they're on, how many hours per week they're working.
oh, what's that?
It's in the original.
Oh, it's an original.
Do you want me to make a copy?
Second
No,
page after.
No, no,
Okay.
so we have.
That's it.
Yeah, but okay.
The right field
Yeah.
tab.
Oh, labor worksheet, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Oh,
And
yeah.
So this one, I mean, so you didn't reprint this because it didn't change,
Correct.
right? Because all you did, really, it looks like what you did here is you broke that out
Yeah.
to show it to us, because it's already broken out in here.
Yes, because what happened was it doesn't have a general ledger account line, so I
Right.
asked the town accountant to create a new one, but here I did put it as a stipend, but when I linked
Right.
the number, I linked it to the 92,124.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay.
So that's the piece. And the other thing she was talking about is the last 3 columns on the sheet is
Right.
existing to the new,
I get this, okay. So
hours
there's
per week, the
person
grade and
one,
step.
person two.
Yes, the grading step, which, we're calling like a salary grid, which is, or matrix, which is
Yeah.
what I might send out, well, I'll send out to you guys.
That's pretty clear.
And
In the oh, you didn't get it, but here's the article that everybody voted on for my, for my salary.
it's kind of like, I knew there was an.
Yeah.
So that you negotiated that yourself, because you're not a union.
Correct.
Good negotiator.
Thank you.
If it's in that.
Someone's gonna take care of me. But
Yeah,
they,
that
they
one.
voted yes. I think one guy yelled out, no. I was like, excuse
There was
me,
just something.
wasn't it just one guy? I was like, what? I just want to be heard. So that's the salary portion.
Okay.
And it goes thoughtful.
It doesn't say, yeah.
Yeah,
So the second section, called expenses, I have an expense backup sheet that looks,
And I am going to point out, look in her comments column,
Mhm.
this is ideal.
Oh,
It kind of,
thanks.
Right, because you're explaining each.
yeah.
right, it's kind of like, I
So did you print this out again because something changed or?
Yes.
Okay,
So I didn't change the bottom line on the expenses, but what happened was, well, let's look at the first, equipment rental is the
Yeah.
first, and I brought it back up because the postage meter lease, on the original said 2,700 and then 170, and that didn't equal 1,670. Because what happened was in FY 25, this year that we're in, I made a request for a budget transfer from moving $1,200 from equipment rental to training, because there was no money in training. So in FY 25, so I did that in FY 25. So when you're looking at your BVPs, I don't know what you call them.
BVAs.
BVAs, monthly budget reports.
Yeah.
BVAs, it says 1670, but originally it wasn't 1670, it was $1,200 more. But this report was ran after the budget reclass was done for FY 25. Does that?
Right, so
Yeah.
normally we would say the original budget and then the changed amount in the second column, so they, and
That's not in that report.
it's not in this report, but it's in a different report to the PDF. You can see the original and you can see the adjustment, so you'd see it go up or down and be able to see it.
So the training line was new for FY 25, and in that I wanted to add more money because talking about succession planning, I'm looking at my crew, and there's one person I'm trying to bring up to get certified, so that when I retire, this gentleman hopefully will have that. So I wanted to put more money in training. However, I took it from equipment rental, and I really meant to take it from communications.
Oh.
So what I did for my adjustment one was I put the money back. I also did an analysis, another analysis of all FY 24 expenses for the postage meter, and I have the backup here, what I paid in FY 24 for the entire year, and it was around $3,000. So I upped it $300. So I upped 1,500 equipment rental, and then third line down communications, I reduced it by $1,500. I did, again, what we paid last year, actuals. So I have the postage meter, and the other, so I was able to do that without increasing the bottom line for you guys.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable with that. With not,
You shifted money around to
Yeah.
cover what you thought your needs are.
Yeah.
Including succession plan.
you got it. So the postage, so if you want to go line by line, or you want to.
I just want to, what's the tax title lawyer services?
Yep, so we outsource, someone who's experienced in tax title, situations. So there's a lawyer we have on retainer, kind of like the Adam, your town council. I also have a bond counsel for debt, UFASI, which is, and then Iris Leahy is the name of the lawyer who's our tax title lawyer. So if you know what tax titles are,
I know what they are,
there you go.
but what does she actually do? Does she do the foreclosures?
Nope. So what she does is she does all the paperwork for processing for land court.
Oh,
So
okay.
we send her and say,
Okay.
okay, these
Yeah.
people are all in tax title. We're ready to foreclose on them, which is the next step. But to get to foreclosure, I have to go through land court.
Okay.
And there's only one land court in Massachusetts, and that's why it's another 3 years before you can even foreclose once you start doing all the process. Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right.
So she does all of that. And then she does help with foreclosures itself, in terms of the paperwork with the auctioneers and stuff like that.
And those expenses can be,
Yes,
Expensive.
yes.
Oh, wait.
they can be expensive, but you're allowed to put them as a cost against the property you're selling. So when you recognize the revenue from
It's a
that sale,
recoup.
it's a recoup. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
so we have to pay up front, but there is a recoup when we do the selling.
So when you
and-
sell, like,
You add all of your legal fees, which would include her, and interest.
you can collect the
You
interest,
can, yes.
Yeah.
because you were saying that the law had changed where
The
they
law-
get the money, you don't get all of the money, they get,
Potentially, if you sell for more than the profit, than your cost, you need to take that effort now to refund.
find the person.
So it's everything above and beyond the costs and the interest and the actual taxes owed.
Okay,
If there's a profit above and beyond that, we have to put that in a separate bank account and wait for someone to come and say, the previous owner, and say, hey, you made a profit on me, I want that money. And we have to keep it for like 3 years or
So after 3 years, we can tell them to go pound sand.
You got it.
I think it might be 7 now.
3 more
isn't it?
years.
I give them your personal phone number. You can tell them to go.
He's bigger than.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, so I mean,
So
there's a
the
lot of.
advantage to putting the properties is just to keep it on the tax roll live. Because you're not gonna really make money on the sale.
Oh, no, I think you said that wrong. Is an advantage to what?
To selling these properties at auction, because you put them back on the tax,
Yes.
earning money for the taxes.
Correct, yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
what
Well
was the
said.
profit center.
It's not a profit center.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Not
not
a real
an,
estate
it's not
business.
an operating revenue, so
Okay.
it can't be used to fund your operating budget. That's gotta be recurring revenue, because you're not always selling properties.
Right,
With these cycles. So this is money that, once it goes in, and again, the reason we have such a large number of free cash certified this year is that we sold the 3 properties in November of 2023, which was part of FY 24. So there was that.
But how did you, if you can't keep the money, over market value?
No.
No, not market value, over the, all of the
Cost of the rear taxes, et
all
cetera.
of, yeah, all of the total costs for the town.
So
And
the
including
auctioneer and the lawyer's fees and whatever
Mhm.
other fee you can
Right.
pick
And
up.
the
Well,
taxes owed.
But at the same time, the town ends up having a liability with these properties,
Yeah,
because they're run down, people could break in, hurt themselves,
Right,
the
right.
town owns them, so is.
the liability
Is
if there's,
liability, should we be putting up fences around these properties, notifications, notice of no
you
trespass,
would,
all of these different, there are new things that the properties committee is looking at.
no trespassing signs.
Mhm. Right, at least something.
Would that, because if you didn't put a fence around it, it's all, I've seen some properties, like you can't even find the property.
Right, I was able to find a house at 182 Warren, because all the foliage has struck up, I can find the house now.
But if you posted no trespassing signs,
Mhm.
would that protect you if somebody broke in and broke their leg?
We need to ask the lawyer those things, so and we
Because
need to-
fencing can get expensive.
And even if you're renting it, it's kind of like, and you don't know if you're gonna recover totally those costs.
And it doesn't stop anybody because it's chain link fencing and people
And-
still would climb over the
So,
fence.
Yeah, it's kind of like, that'll be the final thing, you know,
Okay.
what are the recommendations to protect us?
And how long do you wait before you send the property to land court? I mean, what triggers, how many years do you not collect taxes and then
Right,
you say, well, we
So
gotta
you
do
follow Mass
this?
General Law, so off the top of my head, I've never been a treasurer collector before.
Mm.
So, yeah, excuse me, I don't know everything yet, but I've learned a lot in 3 years.
Right, and they just changed the laws last
Yeah,
year
they did.
with these, so
Yeah.
it's in flux. I
Yeah.
wanna try to pull it back to the budget, not.
Sorry.
It's kind of like, just.
So, yeah, that's all so bottom line, what Don was saying is that if you follow Mass General Law after a certain amount of time, then you've got to post it, advertise it, send out letters to people, blah, blah. Basically, we're not in the real estate business. End
No,
of
I
story.
get that, yeah.
So so I try to do, payment agreements with people. If they call me, I can legally enter into payment agreements with people
Oh.
for past that. So anyway, the moment we turn them over from tax title to foreclose on them, there's a whole bunch of paperwork and it takes another 3 years before they're actually ours. But in the meantime, just really important is we're not collecting taxes while it's in tax.
Yeah,
title.
that's my point. I
That's
mean,
your
so how
point,
does that affect,
Interest
yeah.
continues to go up, the taxes continue to go up.
Does that
14%
affect the growth factor or what?
So, yeah,
no,
you might
no,
want to have another.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
okay,
say,
well,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
stay here,
it's kinda
okay.
like,
Well, keep
so
it-
that's-
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I get
kinda-
it, but
it's-
yeah.
Go to the
Yeah.
property.
no,
So yeah, it's too long for that, so.
Yeah.
We'll do
that gets
treasury
into our Prop
collector
2.5 training.
101, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of
You
like.
you can go get your certification.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
teasing you.
Yeah.
So let's get back to, next one is, the next one, professional and technical services. Anytime you see something that said services, it means contracted services. That's what they're talking about. UTMC, is unemployment. So that's what we're paying for unemployment. They went up, they're $450 a month for this service. we don't pay per unemployment. If anybody files unemployment, we don't pay their full unemployment. We pay, because we very rarely have people go for unemployment. The second version or second way of inputting into the unemployment process, which you legally have to do, is by paying a company into a certain
It's like a bond.
yeah, like a bond, okay,
Yeah.
versus paying the actual unemployment costs.
Oh, you don't pay the state on everybody directly?
No, well, we
Only-
do, no, we pay this company $450 a month, and it goes into some kind of other state account.
Yeah,
Is there an interest?
it's
It's
like,
not our money.
no, it's like unemployment. So the two ways of a standard business paying unemployment, one is you can pay a rate based on the salaries you're paid
Uh-huh.
out and you
Uh-huh.
based on your unemployment history.
Uh-huh.
The other is you can pay directly when somebody files for unemployment, you can pay their full salary. This is a third option, which we can pay somebody a little bit of money. So we're not paying into unemployment directly, but they probably have enough other customers, like an insurance company. Everybody pays an insurance premium, but you're not paying the full value if you collect. So it's like an unemployment pool, but it's by a certified company that has this ability with the state to cover it.
So, yeah,
So it's a less expensive way for us to cover the
there you
unemployment.
go.
So we're paying $400 a month rather than whatever it would be
Yeah,
for everybody's
40, 50, whatever,
unemployment
Right.
rate.
Or 1% of your total salaries that you pay to the town's employees.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
this.
But we chose the cheaper of the way because we're not a huge company that lays off a lot of people all the time.
So if
Right.
you did get layoffs, just say.
Yeah.
It would go to that company and they would take care of paying them?
Yeah, it's still through the state, yes. Yes, we would,
You still go through the state
It
for
would still go through
unemployment.
the state, but through this
Basically,
intermediary
yes.
that we're,
yes.
They're like the holding, they're the
Yeah.
bank being
So
the
we only
holding the
give them
funds.
$400 a month,
450, yeah.
or $450,
Yeah.
and they cover, it's like an insurance company. So if you have an unemployment claim,
There you go.
they cover what the state would pay because the state didn't get money from us.
That's,
Okay, I get it.
sounds right, yeah.
Yeah.
I get
it.
That sounds like-
Yeah, I get
so
it.
Yeah.
It's a third-party agreement to,
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
and then
Fair
if nobody collects unemployment, then they get to.
Well, they get
They-
to keep all the
right.
money, but
Yeah.
when you do get unemployment, yes, I guess when you do get unemployment, it gets dicey, but that's their risk, not ours.
Exactly.
Okay, get it.
Right.
Yeah, this is a much better choice for us, yeah. The lawyer, that's
That
the
answers
tax title lawyer, she increased her rates this actually past October from 200 an hour to 250. She hadn't increased her rates in years since I've been here, and I've been here 3 years, so she just did that. UFASI, UFASI is the acronym for Unibank Financial Something Services, blah, blah, blah. They're our bond counsel, so they're the experts on debt and processing debt, helping me process debt paperwork when we borrow for capital projects, things like that. And they do all the paperwork. Oh, I have to fill out half of it, but they give me all the paperwork to process that needs to be approved by them before I can go out to bid to get money. Like, I have to go through all this stuff.
Paperwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's really,
precursor.
you need an
Yeah.
expert. So that's
Right.
them. Labor Logic. Harper's is the name of our payroll software. We're not really paying that much, $4,000 a year really isn't a lot. Bartholomew Services are the name of the trust, investment services.
Oh.
So that they invest all our trust funds, they have our stabilization funds, they have our capital funds, the cemeteries, perpetual care funds. So instead of putting that money in a bank, we invest it. And Bartholomew is the name of the company that does that.
Got it.
And
So they handle the 4-5 million.
Are there, I assume there are state laws about who you can invest that with?
I was gonna say, there was I think in the last couple of years, a change to it, because it was always bank before, and so you were getting low interest rates, and recently they changed it.
Yeah, so it's called the legal list, and I would recommend inviting Bartholomew to come and talk to you guys at some, if we were
Right.
bigger. and
But I
stuff.
mean, like, I assume
So-
that you're limited as to what companies, like, you couldn't
You
take it
got
all to Vanguard and say, here, Vanguard,
It's called
You
the
wanna-
legal list, and that legal list is made up of only 10 companies.
okay.
And they just, what you just said, the law just changed. They've expanded it to like another 8 or 10 things, but you're absolutely right. We have to go safe, because we're a municipality. We are only allowed, they are only allowed to invest our money
In certain types of.
You got it.
Say, what are considered safe.
Yeah.
Investments or returns.
Because we don't wanna lose all our money and then be
Right.
bankrupt.
Yeah, and obviously that these laws happen because that happened, because
Oh,
a
yeah.
town lost like literally millions upon millions
Because they-
years and years and years ago. And so they're like, oh my God, we gotta protect you from you lousy treasurer and tax collectors who are making bad
Yeah.
mistakes.
For taking it down at Foxwoods. and-
Yeah, yeah. So that's really where that.
Yeah, but if they hit that jackpot,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So along with the Bartholomew investments of trust funds and stabilization and capital and some other funds, I have 30 bank accounts so that I have to keep other money, other revenues in by law that are not invested because I need to access, I say I all the time,
Mhm.
need to access that money every week to pay vendors and to pay payroll. So, for example, all of our taxes, for real estate property taxes, I put in Unibank. We have a lock box where people mail in their real estate and whatever, and Unibank doesn't have a lockbox capabilities or services, so I go through Eastern Bank or Fidelity Bank. So I have Fidelity, Eastern, a couple of CDs, different revenues. When money comes in from the state for grants and stuff like that, that comes in, I put it to one of the banks. Permit Link is buildings, all the money that goes to Permit Link, I keep in a separate bank account because it's just easier to reconcile. So, yeah, and Task is what you guys were talking about earlier, the FSA, flexible spending, that the name of the company is Task. I do want to talk about,
Yeah.
So communications, postage meter, so for our department, the postage meter that's in our mailroom, that is accessed by everybody in the building, the payment to the US Postal System, US Postal Service, for stamps, so that people just go in and run their, mailings, like, it comes through ours. Thank you.
I forgot my mailing. It's been like, I got my census today.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah,
other,
me too. I get
Oh,
my
did you?
census.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just came in today.
But
Yeah.
that's something that would run through there.
yeah,
It's
you
kind of
got
like all
it.
the census forms.
And then, yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kelly and Ryan is the name of our, again, a contracted service. There are deputy collectors. So we outsource a deputy collector, which is what pretty much the entire state does, every town. So Kelly and Ryan, what they do, among other things, is they prepare our tax bills and our excise bills. We send them files. They do the invoices and do the mailings. And the cost of that is around $15,500 a year for all of it, for the purpose of processing. So when you don't pay your excise bill, we'll mail you through my department a late bill demand and say, pay up, what's your problem? And then if you ignore that, then it goes to the deputy collector, and they have 2 more mailings or 2 more parts where they collect their fees, like $17. It's like it goes from $30 to $17 to another like $18 that they collect, and then it becomes a warrant through them where you can get arrested. So.
For not paying your excise tax?
Yep.
Oh,
I thought you couldn't get arrested.
But, yeah, and you'll see on the website when you go to pay, they will say, are you paying your demand? And you can't pay it in the regular site. have a special location. So if you haven't
Kelly
used
and
the
Ryan.
services, Kelly and Ryan, I'll see on.
And so we use them to do that
Dirty work.
because that's more efficient than having to do it within the department itself.
The actual service or the mailings or both?
Both.
So if we were to mail through my department, like to everybody in town, their excise bills and their real estate tax bills, that's all we'd be doing. And all we'd have is a little machine for postage.
Okay.
So yes, so it's more efficient and they create
The forms, yeah, I mean, the printing in those
so
forms,
yes.
other than that, you're ordering special forms so you can run them through the machines. It's kind of like, so it's a way of outsourcing without having to buy all of the materials and the expenses.
You'd have to hire a full-time person with
Just to do
benefits,
that.
just to do that. You
Yeah,
got it.
It's kind of like, so that's sort of.
And that, the reason we have Lockbox, that's also an outsourcing of excise and real estate bills and water bills that you can mail to them and they process it and send us a file. Because we'd have to hire a full-time person to do that. The full-time person I have, Anthony, for as a department assistant, he pretty much answers phones and takes walk-ins. And that alone is 50, 60, 70% of his job sometimes. For people, there's a lot of population in Townsend, enough that don't have computers, so they won't pay online. They also don't trust the mailing and they won't mail it. So they will come in and plus they love us. You like us. Let's
That's right.
see it. So they will walk in. So we need and then you get the phone calls.
And he does additional.
Oh my
services.
God,
We'll
yes.
find him on the IT budget, later on. We
Yeah,
can
he
talk
does
about-
payroll.
Yep, and he manages the system.
Yep, and he enters.
Yeah.
He's quite useful. He's only, yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him you said that.
No, I, please
He's
do.
awesome.
It's kind of like he's been very well. and,
So- Going back to the technical services, though, so it went up by 3,000. I'm assuming that's mainly by the increases from the 200 to 250, and I don't know, the UTMC, that contract did not change this year,
It changed
It's-
this year for FY 25, but not for FY
not
26.
for 26.
So
Okay,
it actually went up from 400 to 450.
450 for
Yeah.
last year. And so basically this 3,000 increases
Yes,
primarily for the lawyer change?
exactly.
Okay.
It's a lot of
And,
money.
but so you're estimating how much time we
You got it.
need to use her based on what we used her in the past.
Yeah, so what I do is when I pay the bills, I sort it by vendor
Yeah,
and I subtotal what I spent like for the whole year for that service by vendor, and that's how I do my projections a lot of times.
okay.
Hey, you guys are getting it. Really good.
We thank you for your time.
yeah.
Uh,
Other services, there are some bank account fees, shredding services for the mailroom, and the rest, travel, training and dues. I've explained. I go to, I'm not supposed to say it, but I go weekly. I won't
Yeah.
say what day.
Yeah.
I switch it up to the bank, for all the money that comes into the office over the counter, OTC, that's what OTC stands for, if I put that anywhere. If people pay cash, in which they do, I have to go to the bank, physically go to Fidelity Bank, down by Route 2 in Fitchburg, to make the deposit. The checks that we get, we have a scanner, and so we don't have to bring the checks, we scan the checks. And that's, so there are some bank services associated with the check scanning and uploading files and stuff like that. Rebecca's my assistant treasurer collector and Anthony's the department assistant. And I'm Lisa. I don't know, maybe we can do a side note. I wanted to make a comment. I added the GL account numbers
Mhm.
and someone really, I'm sorry, needs to review the entire chart of accounts. These, the 50, anything that's a 4-digit number that starts with a
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
These UMass numbers are wrong. I looked them up and I'm like, so,
Okay, well, we'll have that conversation. That's something we can take out of here. What she's talking, The sequence of numbers that we have with the old ones that begin with the
four-digit numbers, the five,
3-digit,
oh, yeah, and the three.
then a 2, then the 3-digit for the department code, then the next one, the 4 digits. They're defined how you use them, whether it's wages, salaries, you know, there's different ways of using them that are defined. And, I will also.
Are they considered like an accounting line?
It's guidelines for how to use those codes when you set
Okay.
them up.
They're the Massachusetts codes.
Okay,
And I will say Melissa's job, she was in school systems before and was dealing with that, so she has school experience with school budgets and that. So,
And codes.
And codes.
I
So
created the
that's
chart of accounts for Framingham schools in the 90s.
So that's where that bit of information is coming from.
Sorry about that.
No, it's kind of, we didn't,
I thought maybe financial now.
no, it's kind of like, we haven't paid attention, we just look at the code and the description and say, okay, that's what it is.
so you're saying some of the codes are misused or incorrect?
Maybe, yeah. may need to
Maybe
be updated.
incorrect or
Yeah.
updated?
Yeah, like, yep, so there's
Okay,
I'm questioning.
yeah. Well, that's a good thing
So
to
who
do.
does that? Who puts the codes in?
That would be the accountant would create them.
The account?
And generally, they have been used year to year. They don't create new ones every year, so we have to go back into history and find out somewhere along the line, it may have been something else and somebody changed the description, which made it, that way.
Okay.
So
Is
it's
this
kinda
the
like-
town account? or-
This is the town,
And realize you've had multiple town accountants over decades and that your chart of accounts, which is what the GL numbers I'm talking about, chart of accounts,
Mhm.
was created 30, 40 years ago. And over the years, when new accounts have been created, a person might not know what they're doing totally with codes. It's a hard thing and it's kind of, you learn on the job, and chose a code to, and it's the chart of accounts for the Massachusetts state, called UMass, Uniform Massachusetts Codes. And those numbers are incorporated into our chart of accounts, and that's how everybody does it. And you can pick and choose the codes, but you might say, oh, I think this is a contracted service and it goes under 5270. And I might say, nah, this is task is a benefit, it should go under 5170.
Is there,
So who's?
okay, so,
Sorry.
no, that's okay,
No,
that's
no,
okay.
This is
no,
what I have to
no,
question.
but-
Is,
you'll find that we go on tangents.
is there an
Okay.
is there any kind of a negative implication for having the wrong code?
Yes, in my book, so what happens is, these codes, because they're in your chart of accounts, when you go to report to the state, and I'm just gonna refer to the schools, they want you to tell how much you've been expending on professional development, teacher salaries, special education, supplies, contracted services. They want to know this whole breakdown, and they gave you these codes and they gave you a description of the code, and they say, okay, so when you go to report your expenditures and the DESE, Department of Education, if you code a contracted service to a supply line, you now have overstated, skewed your numbers and said, I spent $5,000 on supplies. No, you didn't, you spent
Okay.
$4,000.
Mhm.
And so, and then your data's
Right.
wrong, and
They could,
sometimes it is financially.
If that's the piece of data you're reporting from is that group of 4 numbers. And
and that could that delay like their certification to get the cash, the cash back and things like that?
So who oversees those codes being correct?
So your auditors, we get audited every year, but, it can slip through because there are very few
Slip
people.
through,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
Right.
set enough, got it.
So,
The slip through,
yeah.
slip the crack.
Yeah.
it's kind of like, got it.
Yeah.
We gotta watch the slip through.
Okay, so
Okay.
we did take a while to go through the
Sorry.
papers, so
Just,
that's
I wanna
okay.
ask another question about the slip throughs. So, just say that this is happening, Melissa, and does it just skew where the money goes, or does it skew what we owe, or what we get back? I mean, how does that,
Sure,
how does it
so,
impact
I
if they're
can't-
not right?
yep, great question. So I can't answer that because, this is my first town side job. I spent 25 years on the school
Well, give us
side.
a school
So
example.
the
that-
schools, yeah,
Yeah, let's hear that.
I was the budget manager for 25 years for Framingham, Chicopee, all these places. I've created budgets in Mohawk Regional School. Anyway, so what happens is your data is skewed, but there are some cases like with grants and things like that, if you don't, it can affect how much money you might get on something from the grant or chapter 70 money.
okay.
But I don't know what it is on the town side. I don't know that. Because I just,
Okay, but that's good. It's good for us to know because that's a question we
Great
can find out. 'Cause
Yeah.
that could
Right,
could answer a lot of questions.
it could, and it may be just in the reporting side, in that people are doing it off the description and not the accounts, and it would make it easier if we did accounts, if we had them coded.
Well, see, all I can think of is if you're in a doctor's office and the girl codes your diagnosis incorrectly, and they take off your arm
Someone
instead of
dies.
your, right, I mean, that's the.
Well,
I don't go there, it's kind of like. when
Well,
they
I
get-
did
when they
have
get
that
the-
issue
yeah.
with my daughter once. They coded it as a car accident. And so my health insurance refused to pay for an operation because it was coded as a
Yeah.
car
Yeah,
accident.
see, I
And I
think
had to go
codes
to
are
the
important.
car. And it took me, collection agencies coming
Wow.
after me. It took me over
I know, I
over
think
a
that's something
year
we
to
should be
get it
conscious
fixed. And
of.
it was only a code, and it
Wow.
was just a miscoding.
and that's
So-
why that's why these GLs account numbers, the codes, is really what should be, we talk about,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm talking
Yeah.
about 5470, or I'm talking, you know what I mean, not line 43.
okay.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right, you miscode something, right?
Mhm. I do typos all the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no,
I print pages out of
everyone
order
does,
all
yeah.
the time.
have you got all your arms and legs?
Yeah,
Not yet.
that's why they stopped putting magic marker on the, like, this way, operate this
Oh,
way.
yeah.
And that's for
one, yeah.
real.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because my daughter's had several surgeries where they say this leg, this hip, mark it with an X.
No, it's kind of like I've been marked up, and it's kind of like,
It's just,
I said, I suppose it's not good to joke until you're marked the wrong side.
so my brain works like that, so it's easy for me, but not everybody's.
Well, you
brain.
hope they don't
Right.
mark the
Oh, yeah.
wrong side.
Um,
This is the good one.
Okay, do
The
we
benefits.
quickly want to go over?
So that's my, department.
That's the department
Okay.
budget, I'm sorry, it's kind of like,
Okay, the benefits, the next thing.
and so we'll get another update, and replace this in the book with,
Oh, you want another one? I gave it
no,
to you.
you did, it's kind of like.
Oh, this is the update,
This is
right?
the
Yeah.
update, we can
Yeah.
replace
Oh, I'm
it.
sorry, yes, that's your
Yeah.
update.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And so nothing's changed from this update, so we can just put
Correct.
this in the book.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
And the bottom
okay.
line didn't change either
Right.
from the original.
This goes.
We don't have a streaming.
I thought.
That's
I'm
right.
allowed to go home and
We don't
punch
need
it.
that
Look at
expense.
that, look at that.
Oh,
These are less
I'll
than.
go home and punch
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go home and punch it. I'm not doing
I could go to my office and get mine.
No. Oh, okay.
I punched it in, that's
I
all.
see that. Get the
Yeah.
job done.
I should have, okay.
That's all
But
right.
that's
We're
okay,
good.
we're good.
Okay, do we want to touch on the others, or
And it's such a
What?
time before.
the benefits and?
So basically you are responsible for overseeing the benefits, but doesn't come under your department's budget?
Correct. So it's not under the department budget, correct. It's in a different section in the omnibus, and it's called benefits and insurances. And you can see why, one of the reasons you'd be able to know that it wasn't my budget, because my budget is the third set of numbers in your general says 146 on
Right.
mine, and this says 911. So the
Mhm.
department code for benefits is 911, 913, 914.
Right, all the
When
different
you,
numbers.
Oh,
when you
nine
say
things.
add 6% by the town administrator,
Uh-huh.
where does that 6% figure come from?
I'm assuming it's a guesstimate. I'm not involved in the
Okay. Oh, okay.
negotiations. Yeah.
And-
Okay.
It's a
And
guess.
again,
Okay,
that's an estimate now, and that's health insurance.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted to do as we compile the list, we've had town clerks, two employees with benefits. We've had assessor, 2 employees, 2 benefits. Now we have, tax collector, it's 3 employees, 3 benefited positions. So it's kind of like, so at the end, with the benefited positions, we have to account and hope that every employee is, or, we have to account in here that every employee with the help, with standard rates for health insurance cover it, and we have enough money in that line to cover that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we've ever seen that before. We haven't, I should say, I haven't seen that before, so now I want to see how many employees, what's the cost, how did we get to this number, if we're putting in this budget.
Okay, so you wanna make sure
Oh,
that
Because it's a
all the
guesstimate, because
benefits,
you went to get
Right, how
another
did you get-
guess.
how did
Okay,
you get
got
to
it.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
got
Show
it.
me the.
So
make
employee-
sure that how many benefited employees we actually have
Mhm.
versus the
Right, and
benefit, okay.
then the amount, and does that total in?
Oh, yeah, when are we gonna do that?
I think we'll do that with the town administrator, board of selectmen.
Oh,
We
okay,
meet with
okay.
them. What are the totals for your whole organization? And how did you get to these numbers that?
Yeah, how do you get to the number is critical, I think.
It is, I mean, I think we saw from, the budget and the expense lines, how we got there. That's,
On this presentation, yeah.
on this
I mean, the other
presentation,
two
that's-
people we
that's-
saw were pretty
Right.
easy, but I can see we're coming up against some big.
Mhm. We're gonna
issues.
have bigger budgets
Yeah,
that we need that kind of detail for.
yeah,
how do
and
we-
especially when one says, I forecasted, I guessed, it's a guesstimate. That's
Yep.
the unsettling thing, I think, because that's how they made that big error, right? That you found. Did you find it, Melissa?
I'll take credit.
Okay.
So for, may I?
Sure.
Okay, so for FY twenty-five, I did an analysis and it looks like I'm going to come within budget.
Okay, yep.
And so what I do, is take the current people right now and what they have for benefits. So that's a real number.
Correct,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So you have that real number.
Mhm.
What you don't have is 2 months down the line, you get a new hire and they take benefits. What you don't get is someone gets married and takes a benefit. What you don't get is halfway
Baby,
through a year,
yeah.
there's a status change in something. You can't project that. I mean, you
Yeah,
just
a baby.
don't know. A baby.
No, no,
Right,
no.
so you have to decide how you wanna project. The best way to project is take the actuals and then you kind of call the insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, say, give me a hint, what are you gonna increase your, what's the?
Oh,
And they'll
their
go,
increase.
their increase and they'll go 10%. Then what you should do is you find out, okay, are we projecting any new hires next year? And, with the school system, Framingham, I mean, it was new hires all the time. Oh, I've got 15 new hires. I'm gonna budget $15,000 for each new hire. And I would add that to the budget. In the case of us, where we're small, and there's not gonna be any new hires, but I might say, you know what, I would add for changes, 15,000 for 2 more people and call it a placeholder. So I would add $15,000 on top of the actuals, on top of the percentage increase by the insurance company. That's your budgeting 101.
Okay, makes sense.
It's and then if you have extra, it comes back in free. Or the opportunity is we get to the last 2 months of the year and we have the municipal relief transfers that we can do. And sign and move that money to someplace that might need it, that might have under budgeted.
Right. We have to have a special town meeting to do that.
No, in the
Right.
last 2 months of the year, that's a form that is signed off by both Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee.
Okay.
Oh,
So, so there's special periods, the last 2
Mhm.
months of a year and the last 2 months of a fiscal year and the first 2 weeks of the next fiscal year. You have the opportunity to change, like FY 25, we can, from May 1st to July 15th, we have the ability to move money from account to account using these municipal transfer requests signed off by both Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee.
So from your example, if we get to June or if we get to May and there has been no changes for anybody's benefits, so that 15% that you prepared, so all of a sudden you say, oh, well, that's not gonna show up because there's not gonna be any changes. Then we could say, oh, okay, well, let's move this money to somewhere else where it's needed.
Exactly.
And,
I mean, you don't
and does
wanna
that
move-
include like the stabilization fund and capital funds or not? It does not.
No.
So we couldn't move it to those.
The capital fund and stabilization funds are
Only
gonna
general
require
funds.
two-thirds majority, two-thirds majority.
So if we wanted to do that, we would have to have a special town meeting.
We would, but you wouldn't do it then, you'd have to wait for it to be certified as free cash, and once it's certified, then
Oh, right.
make the motion to move it to one of those. So, because the governing body of the town, which is town meeting, has to approve those kinds
Right,
of checks.
okay, so if we say, oh, we budgeted
Mhm.
25 million for the town this year, but we get to the end and we're like, oh, we've got 3 million all told that we're not actually gonna spend. That 3 million basically goes into limbo until the state certifies it and we get it back, and at that point, we say, okay, what are we gonna, now we have to have a special town meeting to decide how to deal with this 3
Yeah, do
million.
You got it.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Trash pickup, kind of.
But is there a default place for that extra to go when it gets certified?
Just the categorization of free cash.
So
So,
the actual cash itself?
Well, yeah, so let's
Well,
say we get,
it's in-
let's say we get 3 million back.
Yeah.
And we say, let's put it in,
Mhm.
say, stabilization.
Yeah.
But the town doesn't want to
Well-
put it all in the stabilization. They say, well, we'll only put 1.5 in.
Yeah.
What happens to that other 1.5 that didn't get allocated? Where does that wind up?
So all of free cash goes into stabilization, and that's when I talked about Bartholomew. So the money gets put into Bartholomew, then whatever is voted, I call up Bartholomew and say, send me 1.5 million, and they send me a check or wire me the funds,
Oh, okay. For you
and
to
the rest stays, and it gets invested.
So it gets, so basically default is it goes into stabilization.
when you say stabilization, okay, it's,
Okay,
I thought, because we currently had about 1.1 in stabilization, because we took the 140.
Yeah.
And moved it out. It's kind of like, so you're saying that free cash that just got certified, the 600 and whatever thousand, is automatically moved to stabilization?
I thought so, but now that you say it that way, I may be wrong, so don't
Okay.
quote me.
So.
Yeah, so like, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Where does
Okay,
that,
I
where-
apologize.
I think it stays in the general fund, but is identified as free cash is above and beyond what your revenues are. I don't think. you
Where's
have-
the actual money then?
Well, the actual, I'd say the actual money is
In
still
my
in the
bank
general
account?
fund. Yeah, I'd say.
So-
No, I mean like on the banking side. Like, where's the actual money? Is it in my banks?
I would say it's in your banks, because.
And Bartholomew is one of my banks. That's
Yeah.
why I said that.
Mhm.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, so I guess like, another part of my
Yeah.
question is, let's say we get the certified free cash
Yeah.
back and we have, and we don't have any place we want to spend it this year. So where does it wind up?
Okay, so this is the money we're taking in this year.
Yeah.
This is FY 2025.
Yeah.
Now, you just certified last year's money.
Right?
It's over here. FY 24's free cash is in this bucket.
Oh, my
And it's
goodness.
kind of, no, what I'm trying to say is it's in a single location, but
Oh.
identified by the class that it is. You have your operating money that you're collecting,
Right.
and it's gonna be in your right pocket. And then your free cash is still in general funds, but it's in your left pocket,
And so
identified as free cash.
if I don't spend that,
But I think together, if you ask for a report, you'd see them combined, and
Right.
you get one total for both pockets.
okay, and then if that money doesn't get spent this fiscal year, is it available to be spent next fiscal year without having to go through any more special process?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's free cash.
That was
Oh,
kind
no,
of the,
don't we vote on moving things to free cash or from free cash
We
to it?
do,
we vote on moving, so that's why we say, okay, now we're gonna have a town meeting, we say, we've got this free cash. We wanna move some of it here,
Right,
some of
yeah.
it there, some of it there,
right.
and anything that doesn't get moved
Yeah.
stays in free cash and becomes available for next year's budget effectively,
Or for use for another purpose if
we vote on it.
if we vote on it, yeah.
So when you say
Probably
we
better.
vote on it, you're talking about the people,
The
the town.
town.
residents.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
residents.
we are representing the taxpayers, so yeah, we are the.
So when you create your budgets, like you're doing now, you're asking everybody, how much do you need for
Right,
your expenses? And then you guys gotta turn around, or someone's gonna turn around and say, okay, how do we fund these
How do we-
expenses?
right.
And, well, we're gonna get some from chapter 70, we're gonna get some from the state, some from the grant, some from revolving accounts, some from free cash, some from fees, some from taxes, like 80 or 90% from taxes. And you list all your funding sources and then when your funding sources are short, you go to your budget and you say, well, I only got 3 million and you want 3.5 million. You cut 5 million or you find revenue. Sorry if I'm yelling.
Yeah.
Or you say you find revenue or
Right.
you do a combination of both.
Or you say no.
Right.
Or you say no.
Yeah, so those are the pieces, we have to get all the
Yeah.
requests, see what they are, then we have to look, I just saw a note today that the initial FY 26 cherry sheets are available. So you can start seeing what the state is thinking about giving the town of Townsend.
Oh, they do? They
Tell them why
actually
they're
give?
called cherry sheets.
Yeah.
They call it cherry sheets because when they came out like 50 years ago,
Oh, they were-
They were
they were on
on
pink.
cherry-
They were on
paper, yeah.
So they're called
Oh,
cherry sheets.
that's
Um,
cute. I like.
Yeah.
So, but the initial FY 26 is out, and we don't get chapter 79.
Oh, sorry, that's
the
school.
So
The
Dave,
school gets the chapter.
that's
Sorry.
right.
Your
We are
school-
spending
Yeah,
Kinda-
FY 24 free cash on those articles we just
right,
did
that's-
last
that's-
week.
Right.
And we have to finish up, so.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Thank you,
Okay.
Melissa, that was wonderful.
yeah,
Good
you wanna-
information.
You might wanna, we don't
Um,
have to, but if you have any questions on debt.
So-
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah,
How do we
yeah,
read
question.
that?
I'm here, guys, so you might, yeah.
Yeah, no, let's go
Let's
through
do
these.
it, yeah.
Let's look at
Don't
That,
make it-
that,
So
that is,
these are,
whoa, we gotta like that.
So these,
Yeah, how do you read
General
it?
fund.
Well,
Where's the
maybe
debt?
it's right,
General
right here.
fund debt,
right, that's the next page.
almost every line.
You might want the cover sheet kind of summarizes it.
so,
No,
then
let's
I
go
put it-
through it. 'cause
Where
this-
is the
this
cover
is-
sheet?
I think this is
Oh, you
important.
don't have this?
So there's
No,
a loan
I think,
for 9 million or is that
Yeah.
9,000?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the back,
Oh,
okay.
it's behind it. Okay,
oh, is it behind it?
yeah, it's the last sheet.
sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Various capital expenditures,
So we went
various.
up 2.86% because of what we borrowed. So every time you guys vote on a capital project, you voted an article, like, the fire engines and the ambulances and, a bunch of stuff, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Bridges and,
Yeah.
bridge replacement, highway truck.
Yeah,
Um,
the two highway trucks last
yeah.
year,
and even, well, we
And then
won't
you-
talk about the water, but yeah.
yeah, but the water does theirs, and you keep that separate because that goes to water enterprise
Exactly.
fund.
They pay.
Okay, so then we really start with bridge replacement series.
Where are you?
I'm right here at GF 2023.
The
Oh,
sec-
okay,
the
right
second
there, I
grouping.
see it.
Is 2023 the year that the debt was incurred, or is that just a number?
I don't know where you're seeing,
Okay, series.
See where it
this one?
says series
sheet
2023?
2023. yeah.
yes, that's the year it was borrowed. So if you looked at the above one, it was 2017.
Mhm.
2023 I don't recall. Fire engine, oh yeah, that was me. The bridge replacement already existed. So what happened was I bundled. So if you have, so it was all before my time, if it was before January 2022. So if you're looking at 2023, the
Mhm.
fire engine, the fire vehicle, and the highway truck were all on Article whatever 13 in
Mhm.
May of 2023. You guys all
At that
town voted to do
meeting.
that.
Mhm.
What I did was there was a previous, and I'm sorry if I'm yelling, there's a previous borrowing for the bridge replacement. And so if it's under like 500,000, or if it's, the more you borrow, the better rate you're gonna get, because you have to go out to bid. So I bundled the bridge replacement, which I think is from, you tell me,
Wow.
I don't
Oh,
know.
The one at the harbor, is that the bridge replacement that was done at the harbor?
2024, that's 2004.
Yeah.
There was another bridge replacement out of West Townsend now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Greenbelt Bridge.
Okay, so that's
Okay, so you're saying
But
these,
not-
these
yeah.
four were bundled together into one loan?
correct.
One.
These four were bundled
Loan,
into one
loan.
loan?
No, these are, yeah,
Yeah, these are ones.
correct. And
So,
so,
somebody collateralizes bridge replacement with vehicles, and it's just an odd
Yeah,
collateral bundle.
It's a bundle to try to get the rate
Well, I get why you're
Right.
doing it, but I'm just interesting that they would say, okay, bridge replacement and a fire
Okay.
truck.
Okay,
Okay, I get that.
okay.
So these were borrowed in 2023, and they're not due until 2025. So let me ask you a question on this fire engine. So we just went to a Board of Selectmen meeting, on Tuesday, and it was brought up that they need an extra $86,000 for the fire engine. So how does that work with this
Okay, so,
debt?
sure. So in Article 13, May 2nd, article, want to grab that, sorry. So Article 13, back in May 3rd, 2022, for $745,000, it was to replace engine number 2. And it's taken 3 years to get it. There was another article on May 2nd, 2023 to replace engine number 3. So the first one for $740,000 was to borrow, a straight borrowing for capital projects. The second one for replacement engine was to borrow it and then pay it back through ambulance receipts. So that has not been borrowed yet. I'll have to get the money soon because we're getting it.
Right.
So what happened between 2022, when it was voted on and ordered, there's been a 3-year gap,
Right,
and 745,000 is not enough to cover the cost of this fire engine today or whenever it's getting delivered. It's going to be another $86,000. You got to find the money. If you want to hear my,
so you can't like throw it back into the bundled finance.
no, with capital projects, you cannot.
So
You got
how does that happen?
It had to be, the escalation clause in the contract was not,
Was there a clause that said for inflation clause?
I believe that's my understanding is that the
Well,
contract.
I ordered a copy. I
Yeah.
ordered a copy, so we'll see it
need
when
to
we get
the
it.
contract
Yeah,
and
yeah,
look
I
at the
ordered it.
contract and see how we were able to go from a number that was presented to a number that is different,
Well, but
because now we have a gap that we have to try to find $86,000 and a way to fund it.
And that's a big gap.
So when you ordered this fire truck,
Don't look at me.
or
Mhm.
however the town orders this fire truck, and it's
Sorry.
so many years ago, they end up paying more when it's,
That is.
We have to look at the contract, Carol, because apparently we're being told that there was an escalation clause in the contract, so we gotta make sure that that's accurate information, and we can
Yeah.
only know that if we see with our own eyes
Right.
the paper.
Okay, I
See
agree
and
with you.
compare the number in the
Yeah.
contract to the number that was put in the budget. Was it just a mistake to transposition, you know?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's important to know.
Okay.
So
Right,
Okay.
so we don't,
Does-
until we
Okay.
see the contract and.
the 745,000, has that already been
So
borrowed?
when you see the
Yes,
contract?
I did borrow it because,
Okay.
I don't know if you care
I will for
my
sure.
saga, but when I just started, and so I borrowed it, no one said, oh, by the way, it takes 3 years for a fire engine to come here.
So has that money been paid to the company that's supplying the fire engine?
No, I have it sitting
So it's sitting
in a
somewhere
bank, yep,
in a bank.
Collecting interest?
Yep.
Oh, collecting interest?
yes.
Do we get $85,000 for interest?
I'm gonna,
You know, talk to Bartholomew or whatever their name is.
well, I'm gonna give you guys some advice that I told the town administrator, and I talked to the town accountant. I'm gonna take credit for this. So in years past, whenever you underexpend something in capital projects, for example,
Mhm.
this forestry,
The forestry
truck
truck.
for $75,000. I asked Katie for a report. It only cost 68,000 and change. So in that line, there's
some money to
over
go.
7,000, 6,000 and change.
Mhm.
So, okay, he told you.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm just thinking,
So what I said was, and I'm sorry if I take credit, no one else is gonna pat me on the back. I'm like, okay, Katie, okay, you've gotta run all of your capital projects for like the past, I don't know, I don't think anyone's cleaned it up
Mhm.
in a while. And find out how much money you have in unexpended capital projects. I think that
Oh.
you might find, there's at least 6 and change that I
That
know
you
of
know what?
from just this engine since I've been here. So Nelson did tell Katie to do that, and then Katie and I are gonna work together, and do a spreadsheet. And there are laws, Mass General laws on how you, how you can handle unexpended capital project funds.
Yeah, that was done, they found a bunch of, no.
Oh, they may have already done it.
Maybe 7 or 8 years ago,
Was,
is that long?
was it the capital budget or was it the other?
It was all.
The special town, I know we did the special town meeting articles that hadn't been fully expended.
Right,
And we continue to watch that on.
Doesn't that get done every year?
It is now, but it wasn't, it wasn't part of the process before.
there's now.
What a nice.
So
But
that extra $6,000,
Mhm.
where is that money now? Is it just in
He
the
wants to
bank?
know where he can rob the bank.
And we didn't necessarily know it was sitting there until you looked at it and said, wait a minute, this actually only costs this much.
Yeah, since before me, I don't know that anyone's ever done that kind of reconciliation on the cash side
Okay,
and reconciled between how much we borrowed
and
and
how,
how much was spent. On my side, just take care of paying back the debt and stuff like
Right.
that. But really, there needs to be a better bridge, on that sort of thing.
I
So
would
doesn't
say
the
so.
auditors pick this up when they come and do an audit?
Guess
It's
not.
Guess not.
so,
Wait, what's that? Slip through? What is
Oh, yeah,
it?
the slip, yeah, the slip.
What
so
kind of
if
auditors do
that
we have?
money was
Yeah.
borrowed for
We got
capital
crappy
expenditures, can it be used to offset the extra 86,000 on this other capital expenditure?
So here's where, you want me to say real quick? or you
You
want
take it, I don't know the details yet, but I don't think you can do a simple transfer, you have to,
Absolutely not.
yeah.
Oh,
it's
So any
really just-
unexpected funds for capital projects, have to, if you're going to reallocate them to another capital project, then it needs to be another article.
oh, right.
Okay,
Okay, because you can only use your capital specifically for what the town voted on.
right. And if it's not used, if it's not voted to use or something else, can that money just get used to pay down the debt that much
Yes.
sooner?
You don't have to take a
Pay
vote
down
on
the
that, exact, yes.
On
Okay.
that specific item.
You can,
Pay
so
down that
basically you
debt.
can use it to reduce that
That item.
specific
You got
item's
it.
debt, and so you reduce the term
Yeah.
that it takes to pay it back.
So what happens when it increases, like this fire situation?
Then you have to find a funding source for that.
You have to find it.
Right. You
So
keep-
she may,
Hmm.
sorry,
No,
so
no.
Katie might find, when she does analysis of all the capital projects, that there might be a couple that overexpended.
But you just said the 6, right? Oh, no.
Oh, I know,
No, that was
over-
under
over-
No, no, she
expended,
said-
that was an
She
under.
has one that she knows is under.
Under,
I have a
but there
report.
might be some that might be over.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
let's find
talking
more
about
unders.
6,
And
7
then-
years worth,
Yeah,
you know.
there's work to be done.
see, that should be done every year, I think.
Well, but
No, I really think it should.
we
No, it
are,
should be.
we're in learning process.
I get it, I get it, I get it,
And
I get it.
all of us,
But-
it's kind of like there's a lot of this element.
Yeah, but we have to put that into practice right this year.
Right, yeah, we have to start, very similar to some of the other things that
I think it's
We're
kind
gonna
of
do it.
accountability.
we learned. It is, but at the same time, you're not sure what you don't know yet. I mean,
Oh, wait, I gotta think about that.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like, we don't know what we don't know yet until we uncover it.
I know, but now we know Melissa's uncovered, so now we gotta move forward.
Now we have to move forward with it and ask, ask the questions, ask for reports, ask for that kind of stuff.
Let me ask you something, on this fire truck thing, maybe I shouldn't get into it,
Hmm.
but, if we weren't informed of a escalation cost, or whatever you wanna call it,
A
and if
change in
we
the
weren't
price,
informed as a,
yeah, right,
if we were given a certain amount of money,
if it was delivered and
happened?
it cost more and we only had X number of dollars, what would happen?
So you guys can have fun with that one, once you get your contract and.
We gotta see the
Right,
contract,
we
but
have
it's
to
all
get the
about the contract.
yeah.
It's all about the contract, because anybody can say anything.
Yeah.
But what they put in writing and everybody signed, that's what the
That's a
rules
whole
are,
nother
rules,
It's
yeah.
hypothetical until,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we gotta deal in the fact. and
I wanna get the
we don't have
6,000
the
back for the forest truck, how do we get that back?
Yeah,
Where do
but,
we put it? Dave, where do we put it?
What's that?
The $6,000 that Melissa found
Mhm.
in the capital fund has to go back into capital
Well,
Where's
no,
it
No,
at?
it,
No,
no, it has to be voted
yeah,
to where it goes.
Well,
Wait, can I hold off on you
Oh.
guys? So,
Yeah.
I wanna go home.
You wanna, yeah, you have.
So with capital projects, there's laws, okay? So there's certain things you're allowed to do. So you wanna talk to your town accountant, and get that information from her.
oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
like the school side, I knew what I could do, and I think it applies to the town side as well. But you need to, you can reallocate it, you can put it towards principal. You can, there's a couple things, as well, other options, I forget what they are. So you really wanna get your town accountant and assistant town accountant in here to discuss that.
Because I think that's important with our recommendations, that if we're
Yeah.
gonna say X,
You got it.
then here are the places we recommend that you
Yeah.
put it.
So we just, Katie and I just talked about this, a couple days ago, and, she's gonna run all the reports for me. And she talked to the town accountant, she's the assistant town accountant, and I'm gonna put my side here of what it was originally budgeted at, voted at this, and then we're gonna combine this spreadsheet. And that's what we're doing right this second.
Oh, good.
So you might want to discuss it with the town administrator and the town accountant as to how soon you want it. I mean, the sooner the better, obviously, because when
Obviously,
you
yeah,
write the
yeah,
article,
yeah.
you might wanna have funding sources, which is what I think you were
Yeah.
just saying.
Mhm.
You want to be able to say, hey, we need 89,000, but guess what? We know a funding source for.
Mhm, exactly,
40,000. I
right,
knew that's
right.
what you'd say.
Because
Yeah.
recommendations
Yeah.
should have the solution as well, especially if there's an issue.
so with these sheets that we have here with that listing different debts and everything like that.
Correct.
How do those don't seem to reconcile with the cover sheet? Like, so the cover sheet says FY 25 has a total debt of 394,225.
Yeah.
Where do I
Sure.
find that number for
Right
Oh,
here.
there it is.
394, yep.
Okay, so what is this sheet showing?
So I think in my, Dawn, I should remember that's my husband's name. I think what Dawn printed out is the backup on my Excel spreadsheet, and I did a spreadsheet, and then I also got a spreadsheet from, they're called, UFASI, my bond counsel, my debt people. And I kind of put that into a spreadsheet, and then, so
Okay,
so it's different, it's the same thing, numbers were broken out differently.
okay, because you're right, because I see this one, you've got a big number of 366 down here for these different
Yeah.
things
so-
of debt,
yeah.
and it doesn't
Yeah.
align with what's over here.
Yeah, so throw that one away. Or just say reference only or something. So that's what I got from them, and it's broken out into water debt, and, I even did one that goes out till 2036, 38.
Okay.
Spreadsheet.
We may be coming back looking for that when we start
Yeah.
doing the capital planning,
Yes, I have all of that.
because that's in the capital plan.
So like, here's an example, and it is the interest and the principal all the way up to 2033 for this particular highway truck. So every item here has one of these.
Right,
That tells me how much, so that's how I'm budgeting.
Okay,
Mhm.
like an amortization sheet,
You got it.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
So I think that's,
and I have
Okay.
one for every, bridge replacement was from Article on 2019, Article 13. And I have a sheet, if you want to see, for every, thing that I borrow.
because I think that's important
And
to,
I put it in.
but so
Excel
this
spreadsheet.
sheet is basically just showing the debt servicing.
so this is.
Yeah.
This was my
highway.
balance, this
Yeah.
is the balance this year after the
24,000,
payments
or
that we made.
218,000.
Yeah. And some may have been,
And then
Paid off.
if a new one comes up, then it gets added in.
so sometimes it's one paid off and another one.
How do
Right,
we know,
right.
So
excuse
for
me.
more detail.
Okay.
on this sheet, for example, Melissa,
Yeah.
how do we know what was borrowed? Well, how do we know what was?
Yeah.
What was how much did it cost? How much did we borrow? Do we always borrow 100%?
Whatever you vote.
right, whatever's voted to
So
borrow.
I only borrow, and I'm only allowed to borrow legally what the town voted.
So
So
is,
see how it says art?
Yeah.
so is it 24,000 is what you started with?
No,
How would you-
no,
Oh,
no.
sorry.
So this is as of 2023.
23?
So, the highway truck, that's the one we did on 2022. So that's fairly recent. So if you go to the article for 2022, was it the fire truck?
No, it's
No,
a
it's the-
Highway truck.
highway truck.
Highway truck.
Wasn't it two?
There's only one, I think. I don't know if it's two.
Yeah, I have one for each.
Oh, you have one for
article.
each, yeah.
Okay,
So, highway truck, is that this one? So borrowed 75,000. Oh, no,
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 wow.
highway, which one are we,
this
highway
one
truck,
say,
532,000.
Article
Sorry,
13.
wrong one.
No, that's the new highway trucks.
240,000. So I borrowed 1.06 million, and of it, these are what it made up of, and the six-wheel dump truck of 240,000 was the original, back in 2022, so this isn't showing the 2022.
Oh, so this is-
Sorry about that.
That's only what's paid down
Yeah,
for here.
that's
I
it.
see, okay.
Okay,
Really good questions.
wow,
But there was no, it
This
didn't
series
go up
of-
anything in cost. It stayed.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't,
Okay.
yeah, you get it.
Right where we.
Yeah,
Holy
$100,000 add-on.
holy
Well,
cow.
no, okay, so I don't know. That's
Oh.
what you gotta say, Katie, did they
Okay.
actually pay
Oh.
240,000?
Okay, got it.
Like that 75,000 one
So,
was we only paid 68,000. I don't know about the other one.
Right,
Okay,
Oh.
so we have to get that information.
We need that
Okay,
information,
okay.
but Katie's the one.
okay, well, thank
Okay,
you.
so
He's
you're
a busy
But
girl.
that helps
He's gonna
a
be a
lot.
busy girl.
well,
Okay.
yeah, but it sounds like they're working on it to make.
Yes.
Okay.
This is excellent
make it-
information for us.
Who knew a dump truck costs so much money?
Oh, it's very,
know.
very expensive.
Special dump trucks, with the weight and all that.
Well, you buy a pickup truck now, it's 70 to 90,
Yeah,
100,000,
exactly,
so
Yeah.
that's not that surprising.
No,
Yeah, I
Scary,
guess
isn't
so.
it? So here's the water department. We don't deal with the water department because they're their own people.
Yeah.
But we-
So here's
we
short
sort of
term.
do, but we don't.
So you have the backup. Now you see that the numbers match.
Yeah,
This one,
This page,
this page,
Right,
is
this
this
page.
page match.
this page matches.
That's pretty much.
And this is, so is this, no, it's,
if you have a question, pick it up, run out for.
So, they might be all budgeted in.
so I guess my question is, on a lot of these lines, the numbers don't change from year to year. Is that because we haven't started servicing that debt yet?
Let's see.
See, like most of these, the numbers haven't changed.
So let's- So the principal, okay, so the first section is the principal. So the
Okay.
principal doesn't change. When you go to the next thing, so you can see the first one, says Land West Fire Station.
Yeah,
8,000, 8,000.
So
It's the
one
interest
after this.
that goes down. Land West
Yeah, it's
Fire
this one.
Station, because the
Oh.
interest goes down because the principal,
Goes down.
the total.
Yeah,
principal
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
down.
right, I guess, and that's what I'm wondering why the principal number here isn't
it just takes
reflecting that.
So, because the principal stays the same. So for example, if it's a 20-year loan, say the life of the truck.
Oh,
is
you're
20.
saying you paid 8,000 in principal last year on that.
Yes,
Okay, so this is showing what you paid, it's not showing the balances.
Right.
correct.
got it.
yeah,
What
Correct.
we paid.
Okay,
okay.
so you
This
paid
is
eight,
what-
so last year we paid $8,000 towards the Land West Fire Station. 3,720 of that was interest. This year, we're gonna pay 8,000, but only 3,320 of it will be interest. Okay,
Because we're paying
and
the
then
same.
you've got backup sheets that show you, this is the principal.
Yeah.
And then and then that'll be the value of the principal at the
Yeah.
end, okay. And then this page you said is kind of different, so don't really look at that one.
Yeah, I just put it in for my own backup. I didn't know it was gonna be, given out. It's okay,
We printed everything,
yeah, so,
so take it out of the book.
No, we need all information.
you can keep it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It's not- but now we know what it
But
is.
it looks to me, I'd have to go back and, well, it should match. So the principal is 266,525 for, and then I have that 266,525, so that
Okay.
matches.
Yeah.
Well, but
The 99.6 matches.
Oh, yeah,
99.6
okay, yeah,
interest.
yeah.
And the short-term loans, 10,000, is not on this page. So this number is $10,000 short, less than the front page, because the $10,000 interest in short-term loans is a placeholder for if I need money for borrowing a short-term ban or something, and I need $5,000.
you have the ability to borrow up to $10,000 on short-term to cover short-term expenses? Is
No,
that-
you guys have approved a $10,000 budget for expenses that might incur for a short-term loan. So
Okay.
for the expenses that the lawyers, the fees associated with going out for a loan or a ban, a short-term ban, this is that money. So that usually doesn't get expended fully.
Mhm.
But at $10,000, you don't want to not
Have
budget.
it available?
Yeah, so it would be 394, 225 minus 10,000, 384, 225. 405 should be 390. Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to go back. Sorry, guys.
Did anybody ask the acronym for BAN?
Huh? I know.
Okay,
No,
I had copied it and written it down somewhere and I forget, bank, something, note, is it?
Oh, well,
what does bands mean?
Is it bank allocated note? I don't remember what I copied.
Oh, right. A RAN is a, ban is a bond anticipatory
No.
note.
Oh, good
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody uses the word anticipatory.
Yeah,
right?
that's tricky.
We'll give you $50 if you say it right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
It's kind of like-
Anticipation note.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
what is, so is that something that you take out a short-term loan essentially because you're anticipating that a bond is being issued and,
So, if there's not, if it's like only $500,000, nobody's gonna give me a 20-year loan.
sure,
Like, you go to make a loan, I'm like, no,
right,
hit the road, Jack, right? So I have to take out a short-term ban, versus a debt loan that like debt service schedule. This is the debt service
Right.
schedule versus, it's still debt, but it's a category of the type,
so we
how you
did
get your money.
so we did some kind of small amount of borrowing that now, last year, that now we have to pay back, and we have to pay it back under this line item as opposed to these long-term debt.
Yeah, I
line
think it was the 472,000 and change from last year or something, yeah. I can give you as much detail as you want, but, like I have like 6 ways to Sunday on spreadsheets.
Yeah,
Trying to organize, when I first started, I'm like, what the? So, yeah. And, for example, what if I didn't get enough cash flow to pay my bill, pay our
And you
bills?
needed a.
Like, that's why the whole trash bag thing was implemented, because there wasn't enough cash. And all of a sudden I needed to pay payroll or pay the school assessment or
Mhm.
someone, anything, the lights. And all of a sudden I don't have enough money in the bank. And I had to go borrow money short term, okay, I need $1 million tomorrow
For a week.
for a week.
Until the next, yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
So that's- I haven't done that since I've been here, and
Okay.
but so it all depends on the size of or the amount of money that we're looking to borrow, and who will lend it to us, and at what rate, and at what
term?
terms exactly. And that's,
Okay, so basically, last year, we had to add a loan that requires us to pay 29,000 next
Right.
year to pay that off eventually.
eventually,
Not necessarily all next year,
You
but
got
over
it.
whatever the term of those.
and it might be a couple of different things over
Right,
different years,
right.
and for the line item, It's
You
just
just combine it
subtotal.
into one,
Yeah, and then that's why I have the backup
right,
to tell which one's which.
right, okay, so we didn't print that backup up. We didn't print out that backup for this particular exercise.
What's that?
I don't know. Projection of long-term debt
it,
service
that's it.
requirements.
How did you get that?
Oh, man, that font is small.
Yeah, very.
That's the one I was talking about there where I took it all the way out to calendar year.
Right.
Yeah, 23. So that, I do have that. I didn't know. I missed it.
Yeah.
But you might want to review stuff and then come back with more questions.
We may
right?
have more questions when we get there, kind of like I was hoping.
There's a lot.
The budget, yeah, there's an awful lot, but no matter what, this will help.
I hope I didn't make anybody's head explode. I think you guys have, thank you for listening. I think you're all so intelligent that you were like, oh, okay, I get it now, Melissa. And then you would say something, you'd be like, regurgitate it back, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's exactly it. So good job, good job,
We
good
remember
job.
today.
Good job there down there too.
Yeah, tomorrow morning it's gonna be all gone though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah, but you guys, you faked it well.
Well, no, we understand it.
Yeah,
I understand
yeah,
it now.
we get it,
I'm just
yeah.
saying tomorrow morning,
When you sleep on it.
when I sleep on it, it goes.
Stays on the pillow.
Yeah.
Movie lyrics from 1980, that I remember. Music lyrics from 1980, that I remember.
I love it.
That's funny.
Figures from today, forget it. It's
Oh,
not staying.
Yeah. I don't even know what we had for lunch, right? But I remember
Exactly.
high school.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, this is a lot of good information. I appreciate your time. We went longer than I anticipated, and we kept you from dinner at home.
Oh,
So
no, that's okay.
thank you for
Say the
your
clock.
time.
It was a captive audience. You let me talk? Much appreciated. I don't think you need me for anything else, guys, or?
Think we're
I
good?
don't think so. If anything else, there's questions, we can reach out on email and things and pick that. And
I appreciate you guys all volunteering.
Thank
Quite a
you.
good group. These two are veterans, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
sure.
Sam.
yeah, oh, there you are. I see. Yeah. All right, guys,
Okay,
take care.
Yep.
thanks. Have a good night.
Thank
Stay
you.
warm,
Oh,
warm up the car.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cold now. Okay, so that was a lot. I think
That
that's
was
it
a lot.
for the blue book.
That was a lot, but it was a lot to
Okay.
get.
Right. And it's kind of, and again, if we were trying to squeeze everybody in on this budget summary on Saturday,
Yeah.
we won't have that kind of.
Oh, no, and that was so helpful
think
because
that-
now we know, that there are alternatives to,
Right.
yeah.
I feel better knowing that Katie is looking for,
Yeah,
Right,
to try to find,
and
yeah,
they're now
yeah.
digging together.
Yeah.
The two of them will,
Yeah.
dig at it.
Katie is the,
Assistant treasurer,
Okay.
so she's
Accountant,
the town accountant, sorry,
okay,
kind of like, not treasurer.
assistant accountant.
accountant, yeah.
Assistant town accountant right now, working towards, and again, that's a position, it's assistant with, an outsourced and a professional service to be the town accountants to sign things that is certified. Katie is working on it. There is a dollar figure with training for her. She should be certified as a town accountant in a year or two more, of classes and testing. And when she passes, the idea is that the professional services contract for the town accountant will be reduced to maybe an on-demand, as needed service for her, and we will only have the town accountant. So,
Only have her.
we'll have her as town accountant.
We won't have the extra.
We won't have an extra professional services contract.
Oh, okay.
To get it, so that's, again, part of the whole succession plan, how do we get better as, and with the right people in the right places, and get people willing to work for the town and take the training to work towards. Okay, no, yeah,
Enough
back,
said, okay.
back to the agenda. Item 2.2, the work session, it says review the.
Carol's minutes, I make a motion to accept them.
Oh, I gotta fix them, right?
Well, I had one item that if we want to look at,
It's like the word, yeah, look at the word. on the meeting
On
minutes?
the bottom of the first page where it says Article 3 through 11,
Oh, this word here.
we voted on that as a bundle, but we're in the recommendation form
These
where,
articles individually, I guess.
yeah, we didn't do them individually, we did them as a bundle. We said
Oh,
because
So
they were all
I
the
was just
same.
gonna
we?
take out the word individually.
Mm,
And
so we
put
just-
bundly,
no, I think.
I
we
think just take out the
Recommend these
word,
articles,
Right,
oh,
It
period,
just-
the end.
and just put a
Right.
period
Okay.
at
strike
the end.
individually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strike individually and,
Okay.
and just leave it at that.
Yeah,
because um,
right, because we did one vote
mhm.
to say,
Oh, that's right, we went over everything, but then we bundled the
we kind
vote.
of said, yeah, these are all
Yeah.
the same thing, it's
Yeah.
just different properties, so
So-
let's just vote once.
Yeah, and in my mind, I was thinking they were being voted on individually at the town meeting.
Right.
Not as,
Oh,
not,
It's
so-
our job here.
yeah, so so that's why I stuck the word because I was thinking of
Thinking
the
about
town
it,
meeting.
All right, I have to
So-
ask a question, because I've heard this term, what is omnibus?
Omnibus
I
is.
don't want anyone to hear that, I don't know what
No,
that is.
no.
Thanks,
It-
Don.
Again, we don't, it needs to go into our definitions.
Yeah,
But when you see the whole town budget presented in one spreadsheet,
Mhm.
that's the omnibus budget.
Oh, all
Every-
business, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, it's all of the departments, all in together, separated by its sections of general government, and starts with the board of selectmen.
Got it. Thank you very much.
So, that's,
Did you know what that was?
I did.
Yep.
So do you want to make a motion, should we make a motion to approve the minutes with that,
With that-
with that,
with
with that,
that
with
amendment.
that
revision,
with
yeah.
that change?
I move that we accept the minutes with, as amended.
I accept, take Jerry, That was good.
okay. So we had a motion and a second in the room. Any further discussion?
About the minutes?
Yeah, about the minutes.
No.
I-
I'm good.
I may do it different than other people. I think they try to do the motion in a second to have a discussion. I usually do
Yeah, that's good.
discussion and then
Nope. No
the
discussion.
motion. So no
Okay.
further discussion. A roll call vote.
Jerome Ziggs, yes.
David Walker, yes?
Carol Hoff says yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes. Thank you. Sam, okay, next item was to review the special town meeting warrant articles and the recommendation sheet. I had printed copies in the room. It's a work in progress where I just tried to capture our work so that we can put this, and when they take a town warrant, one of these will be handed out to all the townspeople that want them attending the special town meeting.
Oh,
This
these
is-
are our
These
recommendations.
are our recommendations
Okay.
on the article. So if we look at how it relates to the minutes we just
Mhm.
looked at,
Mhm.
and this is a different format. I had tried to mimic the warrant and put Article 1 and then some words.
Yeah.
I did the table this time. Try to break it up a little bit. The article was listed, our whether we recommend it and what the vote was, and then a little additional information about the article, to add to the article. that
Okay, so we have to have
we may
this.
found out. We can, it's generally, I like to have it reviewed by somebody before we post it and send it to printing. We can make 75 copies for the article, but, I just, again, it was just the information we gathered and discussed.
Except I'm not sure what, on this first one,
Mhm.
okay, the company is a medical supply company,
Yeah.
originally Boundtree Medical Supply, shortened to Boundtree for this article. And then you get about Boundtree.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that's a link, that's actually a link to the about, I can pull it
Oh,
up.
okay.
Because there's a history, that company is about 40 years old, and
Okay,
they've had about 5 different names.
do you want a link on that handout?
I don't.
It only
maybe
just
not. It's kinda
confused
like-
me.
it'll-
It was
Yeah,
like,
that's fine. It's
But
kinda
don't
like-
you think we should also put, this is a late invoice, wasn't submitted in time to pay last year?
We can,
Cause isn't that what?
That's what
Oh,
it
yeah,
is?
There
it
were a few,
is.
there was one or two of
Yeah, there were a
those.
few of those, yeah.
Like, oh,
So-
yeah,
I think
a 2020.
it's good to know that it's medical,
Mhm.
but it's also good to know that it wasn't submitted in time to pay. So
Yeah.
that's why it's popping up.
Yeah.
Now, the 32,000, oh, that
So-
might be a controversial one.
right,
Um,
it may be, but do we,
Part of the
if we don't
application
like this
early.
format, if we wanna see the article information, I can do it a little different, so that we see it.
I think maybe we should see.
I think this is,
Okay.
I think, a little
It's a
too
little too
abbreviated,
disconnected,
yeah.
little too
Yeah.
disconnected from.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
issue.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's all, it's kind of like, it was something a little different, and I said,
Because like, for example, the 32,000.
Yeah.
This sheet, oh, you're,
I-
because it's not gonna be right under the article in the same
mhm,
paper,
right,
and you gotta do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So look, so we should say, so this is for recreation for the town
Yeah.
playground for,
so a brief
Disabled.
description of Article 2.
I think,
First,
yeah,
yeah.
I think we
This-
have to
this goes with
say,
the
yeah,
article.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
unless we can put it under it, but I guess you can't, can you?
I can do another column. And shorten it up, just say, it will crunch the description a little longer. It's not a big deal. It's kind of like, if we want to do the table, if we want to go back to the old style, I can list the whole item on the warrant
Oh,
article and put
I
it,
don't-
put it below. I just figured it was a lot of repeat information, so.
It is, but I
But-
think this
but
isn't
it's
giving
fine.
enough information.
if he just say, maybe just adds a couple of words about it being for the playground.
Right, okay, so I can do another
but
call. I'll do
Doesn't
another-
have to be long.
No,
it's
no,
just
no, but I think we should say
Say
something.
something about,
Yeah.
so that
So,
when
like in
somebody's
that-
looking at it, they, oh, that's for the
Right, they-
playground.
Right,
Yeah.
it's not clear enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Oh, Sam just
Sam?
said something.
no, I don't know if I had sent this out to everybody, it's a review,
Oh.
but that's good. I was, a little short with it, but as we continue with this,
Mhm.
I did have some extra information,
Oh, good.
as we get to the articles we didn't vote on.
That's good, but on the ones we did vote on,
Yeah.
are we gonna go back and look at those? Because the printer one
Mhm.
is important because
But you gotta,
Which printer one? We voted on one printer one. and we
Article
didn't do-
12, two main printers
Yeah.
copiers are 10 years old. Okay, that's good, we know this.
Mhm.
But on the actual information that you sent us,
Right, from now, yeah, from, Yeah.
there were still questions, like one of the, is it per copy that we're paying on this?
there will be a quarterly charge per copy, yes.
I don't understand that.
Okay,
Why?
It is-
We're paying that kind of money for a printer. Why are we, and we're using our own paper.
very similar to what software companies are doing, and it's a per use fee. Black and white copies will be a half a penny a piece, and color copies will be 5 cents a piece. It's a generally accepted practice, all.
Have we been
with
doing that right
copies.
along?
No, this is a change in the industry probably in the last 7 years or so. And it's kind of like having come from the printing industry. I'm very familiar with it, because we would do that. We would have service contracts and we would charge per copy. And depending on your band or how many copies you made, the more copies you made, the lower the price was. This didn't seem to recommend any banding. But this is how major copier
There's a lot of
systems like
paper
that
comes out
are
of
being.
this town hall. I mean, that's,
So
Is it
so you're saying we're gonna pay a fee per copy and that covers the maintenance of the printers?
Correct.
Okay,
What
so
if it
rather than
doesn't?
paying a yearly
We're
maintenance
paying it.
contract,
We're-
this is essentially the maintenance contract.
so
Right.
we're not
It-
paying a
it-
maintenance contract
it-
to have a set page paying towards the,
That my
Oh, no.
computer died. Let me get plugged in and take a
I'm
look at
not sure about that.
I mean, if we're paying that kind of money for a copier, and we're paying for the toner, and we're paying for everything else.
But are we paying for the toner? I thought the toner was included.
Yeah, it's included, things like that are included.
It
and
it
we're
is.
only we're paying for the copy. And that's.
So we only pay per copy. We don't pay for maintenance, we don't pay for toner.
I think
So we're only paying for each piece of paper that we print.
So it,
Right,
So it just
we're paying for the
replaces the-
toner.
it just
Use the
replaces
print.
maintenance.
Maintenance and toner.
Oh, and
You
toner.
sure on toner, Dawn?
I
Well,
believe-
I've never,
Call it out.
well, I haven't worked for 4 years, but we always paid for toner.
But you know what, you never know. So
But-
change
but
it.
I know,
It depends
I
on the
know.
contract and what you get, what
Yeah.
it signs up for.
Yeah, that's true.
Because again, I having put ahead several product lines and even the one that produces the plates go on the printers, they were starting to go to a cost per, they were gonna lease the equipment and for every plate you made, there was gonna be a charge. And that's how. the
So
company
do we
makes
know
the
how
money.
many copies we make in a year or a quarter or a month or a half year?
I don't-
Thousands.
Well, but doesn't the computer count them?
Yeah, the computer,
Yeah.
the printer
So you
counts
would
how
know.
many copies, yeah.
Dawn, fix your glasses.
I don't have my readers on, so.
Oh, is that all?
So, sorry. Thank you. And I was trying to do it for.
Oh, so that would be me. I have like 5 pages of glasses. One for the computer, one to read, one to drive. So,
Okay.
so they did all that, checking
Mhm.
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
So we
they,
just have to trust that the person who came up with this did their due diligence.
right, but we,
They're not related to the people that own the copy machine. I guess that's right.
well,
Somebody's
But
brother-in-law.
that could be a true statement, so.
That could very well be a true statement. That's why I made
I
it.
know. When you said that, I thought about it, I said, yeah, that could be, that could be.
I mean, this is, you know,
the PowerPoint proposal. Xerox.
just so we know that people did their homework. That's all.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because I understand what you're saying. If per page includes maintenance and toner, that
I get
probably is a
that.
decent
Mhm.
deal.
Includes all parts, supplies, labor minus paper.
Do we pay for?
All parts, supplies, and labor.
Minus paper.
But
Minus-
toner's not a part. Oh,
But it
it
is
is
a
a
supply,
supply.
it is a
Okay.
supply.
It's a supply.
Okay.
So sometimes you'll hear them called supplies, sometimes you'll hear them called consumables.
Well, see, you know,
Um,
that's the thing. It's all about this language
Right.
salad
yeah,
that the corporations have
Mhm.
created.
Right. So in the proposed solution, it does say it, and so the mono cost is a half penny per black and white copy and 5 cents per color copy. So
Now, just
that up.
saying, are they gonna be, when you use that machine, you have to use it per department. So is
Uh,
department,
You get number, right? Key
I
number.
would, I don't know that is, and, you know, whether each department's gonna come up, or if there's gonna be one single, and again, the main bills will probably start coming in FY '26, so when we see it, we're gonna ask Nelson, who's, you know, where is, exactly that, is there gonna be a charge per department, are they gonna get it in and reallocate the money, you know, single bill paid out of the Board of Selectmen
yeah,
budget.
yeah.
And then they reallocate per department, usage.
Yeah, so that's the case. That seems pretty reasonable. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
given this whole copier thing.
Right, yeah, so it's
No color copies.
well,
Black and white.
but that's the piece, it's kind of like there has to be a little bit of, work done with it, that when the printers are set up, that you set the default to black and white,
Yeah,
because if you, by, in error, set it up as a color printer, and then you run a big job, that's a lot of.
it's a lot of paper, yeah.
That's a lot of paper, and,
Yeah.
and, you know, maybe teach people how to cancel a job if it's,
Don't teach them how to change it to color though.
Yeah.
No,
But
or-
you're right,
or
that
whether it's, whether it's two separate printed use, so what,
yeah, it should always be
Can you
defaulted to
can you
black.
disable the color function?
Right.
Um,
Well,
Yeah.
so Mike, would there be a time when they might
No.
And
need
if they
color?
double, if you
I don't
double,
know.
if you print double-sided, is that one
Yeah,
copy or is that
maybe
two
they
copies?
had
It's one page, is it? No, it's two
No.
No, I
pages, one
bet
piece
that's
of
two,
paper.
because if it's counting,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
count that
It's kinda-
page.
that's-
Yeah,
we used to even have, a count for blank, how many blank pages here.
oh my,
How many what?
Oh, yeah, if you have
Blank
blank
pages.
pages, yeah.
that's not right.
I,
Now I draw.
no, I'm saying it counted the blanks, but it didn't count them as a.
Oh, it
So it
knew
knows
if
how-
it printed it.
So it knows that,
It
okay, I
knows.
have 500 blanks, so take away 500 from the print, from
Yeah,
the print charge.
Right.
all right, so that's
So
good to
that-
know. And then we had the next one. Now, is this,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll move
No,
on.
no,
Okay.
it's kind of like, if we had already voted that article to approve it,
Mhm.
Right.
so do we need to reconsider anything, or is that just?
I don't think we need to reconsider.
Now that we know
Now that we
that
have some
replaces-
information.
It
Yeah.
replaces the maintenance thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
information's vital here. in this
Yeah.
job.
So, so,
Which is why we reached out to town administrator, and again, that was just one I threw in, we had already recommended it, but I thought it was good for us to have the additional
Information, yeah.
And we had it with the presentation from Xerox was very well put together, and we were able to get that information out.
So Article 13 is from Melissa that just left, correct? Didn't she have
No.
shredding in?
No.
No, that wasn't Melissa?
Okay, this
Oh.
is treasurer.
Oh, she's not the treasurer?
Did I say treasurer?
She's a treasurer tax
She's
collector,
the
isn't she?
treasurer collector, this is,
The top one, Dawn,
this is accountant.
oh, this is accounting.
office. This
Oh,
is
so
the
we haven't
accounting
seen
office.
accounting yet, so we don't know if it's gonna be duplicate.
Okay, so Article 13 is recommending,
Let's see, 1250.
go, right, and we had asked the question,
Oh,
about
for-
how
it's
much,
accounting,
how much
yeah,
for each.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there were two things in the article.
Right, and we were gonna get more information on shredding for the whole
So,
town.
Well, the-
shredding is 600.
But was that for everybody or?
Okay,
It's
so,
not-
okay, so here's what this article is. Because it's in the one budget, the printer,
Replacement of a copy.
625, the
625.
printer is 625,
the printer is 625, which leaves the other 600
600 for the shredding.
for the shredding. Now, the 600 for the shredding, is, and again, you're right, Melissa had her shredding in, but that's the daily shredding, there's buckets that are collected around here
Oh,
for,
okay, all right.
items that you printed out, you trash or.
Yeah,
or
so
you-
like when I cleaned out the file cabinets, it was a bucket that I filled up
Oh,
every day,
okay.
every time I
Right.
came.
So it's not a
and said-
duplicate.
So it's not a duplicate, this 600, was reached out, the accountant office had $300 to $350 worth of, shredding to be done. It was done based on the volume. When I say volume, it's not weight, it's number of bankers boxes
Oh.
that they were gonna do. And there's no separate call-out charge for the truck to get here. It's just, they're on the road, they come over. The 600 is the accountant reached out to other departments to get additional shredding in there. So there's gonna be, in addition to hers, which is
Oh,
already,
other departments are
Other
included in
How
that.
do they come?
in this case, it's on demand.
Oh.
This cleared out because there's records that are old, that need to be destroyed, and they're taking up the space, and the ones that need to be stored
Clean out, yes, for clean.
can't fit in the vault. So these are ready to be destroyed. And again, it's kind of, this money is in here. And it is two separate items, but it's combined in one article, but understanding it together.
Okay,
All right, sounds
Yeah.
good.
I-
Do we have to vote on it again?
We didn't vote on it before,
Right.
so we do need to vote on it. And
We need a motion?
we need a motion, to, recommend Article 13 for the printer and shredding for the account.
Okay, I'll make the motion to, vote on Article 13 to recommend that for shredding for the accountant and additional offices and a printer scan and printers to replace the printer scanner in the accounting office.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions?
No,
Okay, none being heard, a roll call vote.
Carol Mazikas, yes?
David Walker, yes.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes, so that will be unanimous that we recommend a printer. In shredding. Okay,
Do you want to change down here in your information, you say these for Article 13 to, in this Article 1 for a printer for the treasurer, should
Yeah,
that be
I-
Yeah,
changed
that
to
should be
accounting?
changed to accounting,
Yeah.
yeah. It's accounting person.
I was gonna say, and Melissa would be happy that Katie is buying her a printer. But
Yeah.
Katie would be very disappointed because
She would get one.
she wouldn't get one and the checks would continue to.
Okay.
I will definitely update that. In the event. Okay. Article 14, we had heard back from Nelson on this article for additional information. And this Article 14 was looking for $2,500 for the town clerk to do the E-code update for the town charter. And Nelson's information back said that they would make a motion to take no action on this article. As-
Because they're duplicate, right?
well, we had Kathy in here to
Yeah.
review her,
Mhm.
and we looked at her BBA, and she
Mhm.
said that money was for updating.
Uh-huh.
So, it seems as though there was a communication gap somewhere that the article ended up on there, but the information back from Nelson was that
So basically, we don't need to do this.
we don't need to do this because it was already in our budget, she already did it.
Mhm.
So there's no need for the extra.
But we still need to vote on it at the town meeting because it's been posted.
They may do a motion at, the warrant article will be there.
Right.
But the motion that associates with it
Was,
will be, they'll make a motion to take no
to
action. on it.
okay. So hopefully that one will go quick and we
That-
we
that
won't
will
have
go-
people complaining about it.
Right, yeah, that one, will-
Dave,
that one should go quick. And hit it, so that,
so we don't-
and I did just to make sure, I did have a conversation with Kathy earlier today to validate that what we said was true, and Nelson had the conversation. So all groups, finance committee, town administrator, town clerk, are in agreement that article and that money was not needed for updating
Okay,
the charter.
Good, thank you, Don.
So,
that's good.
Good for us to find that.
Hmm.
Now on 15,
Article 15 was asking for $5,000 to go to the alternate building inspector line, which is line 39, which is line 389 in the budget that was approved in May, sorry, it's kind of like, so I copied the two lines that are sort of being impacted here from the information. I'll update the column that says 74,708. That was the fiscal year 24 budget for building commissioner. The 58,000 is fiscal year 25.
FY 25,
Is 58,000.
the budget, that's what they want,
That's,
right?
well, that's what we voted.
So
That's
we've
what
already
the-
voted to pay that, oh,
We
okay.
voted to pay 58,000 to the building commissioner and 4,250 to the alternate. That's what was voted in May. Now, they're
Oh.
asking, now the ask on this line was $5,000. When we reviewed it in the BVA at the end of
Mhm,
December,
yeah.
it was $1,400.
Right, still there, still
there.
there. Offsetting the 5,000 hopefully, correct?
Well, that, that,
3,500, whatever it was.
right, so
Yes.
if, the response back from Nelson was the motion will be for the less than $5,000.
Would be the-
Less than being like 3,100.
Well, if.
Or 4,999.
Well, with,
Should be
I'm
30,
hoping
around
that
3,500.
if the stipend is $200 a week and it's 26 weeks left in the year,
Uh-huh,
in the payroll period, just as a, so that's roughly 3,200 needed, there's 1,400 there, so I don't know the exact number, he hasn't forwarded the motions, the actual motions yet.
okay.
But it's, if they need 3,200 and we have 14, it should only about be,
14,
they might go a little bit higher, they might go to 2,000, just in
Just a
case he does
buffer.
a buffer in case he does extra work, but that's if it is 2,000 that they put in there, that's 3,000
That we-
more still in
in
free
our, for
cash.
cash, yeah.
In
So
free cash.
can we wait to
It's in
see
there.
what they do, just to vote?
No, we have to be able to print 75 copies of these
Oh.
recommendations,
And the meeting's Tuesday.
and the meeting's Tuesday
Oh.
night, so we have to make our recommendation. But having done our due diligence, our recommendation is that the number should be less than 2,500.
Okay, let's say it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be
We-
less than
we-
2,500?
Yes, because,
Because there's still 1,400 in there, so that gives them,
and it's only till June.
and
To
this
June.
is
Just-
only,
just- till
Oh,
June,
that's
it's not-
6 months, okay.
right, it's only 6 months, we're
Okay,
halfway through
yeah.
the year. Now, that's being very generous, and if we don't use it all, then we can't get it back until free cash
Yeah, so
certification.
we don't wanna give them all
We
the
don't-
money, no.
No, it's kind of like,
Right.
so our recommendation is,
2,500.
it should be probably
In that area.
in that area or less, 20, we can give it a range, 2,000 to 2,500.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, I'll make a motion on that to increase the amount,
Decrease the amount.
Decrease the
or
amount.
decrease the amount
We,
from
Right.
$5,000 to a range of 2,000 to 2,500 for the alternate building commissioner salary.
Second.
okay, so we have a motion and a second.
You get that, Karen?
Yeah, I think so.
Any further questions or discussion on what our recommendation for the article is? So as we vote on Article 15, our motion is going to be to recommend with our description that it should not exceed,
No,
it should be in the range of 2,000 to 2,500.
Yeah.
So that's what we're
Gonna say,
gonna vote, we're gonna put that into our recommendations to pass out at town meeting, and, we'll get that back to,
to take a vote.
Oh, yeah.
so the vote in the affirmative to recommend is that based on our recommendation of.
Oh, we didn't vote yet.
But
We have not, so,
Oh, okay.
no, I just wanna make sure that when we're voting in the affirmative, we know what.
Oh, if we say yes
If we
means,
say yes.
Oh,
this
I know.
This is what we're voting for. I don't want there to be any ambiguity into
Right. whether
there's a question about what we're voting on. So. with that
Dawn.
motion-
Dawn, can I say something?
Sure.
That's fine. I don't really know what the motion is going to be on the floor. If Nelson said it was less than that, but if that's your recommendation, you should be prepared to submit an amendment to the motion. If in fact, that's not what the motion is. That's all.
Right. Yeah, again, he had said it would be reduced, but didn't give an amount, so it's kind of like, just doing the calculations, we're trying to maximize. Thanks, Veronica. But we'll be prepared. And probably have a firm number in our range, but so, and I'll work with Nelson, see what he's got for a number, for sure.
So what are we doing?
Okay, so we're gonna vote on Article 15. And we're gonna vote to recommend it with our suggestion and also be ready at town meeting to make an alternate motion if it's higher than the number we've put here.
If it's higher?
You can come down, you can't go up.
Yeah, well,
No, it-
Right, which,
Right,
so
but
if they make the motion on the floor to say be 3,000, then we would make a motion to amend that to bring it down to 2,500.
Right, you can't.
Oh,
We're
I
recommending
understand what you're saying.
2,500 is the
Oh,
max.
okay, all
Go
right,
down.
So,
never can go up.
yeah. And,
Okay,
okay.
and again, I think there's some leeway in that. Adam's been on we've had that question before, and it's kind of like, and Adam thinks you can go up.
You can't.
within-
You can go up?
You cannot go up.
John's saying Adam thinks we can,
So we'll get clarification from Adam on that.
or.
Yeah.
But isn't that like a mass general law, what, up or down?
We'll
See.
see.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of like, that's a town council.
It's not a fact of law?
Confirm with the town council to make sure. I can't.
I'm saying we don't know, so we'll have to
Yeah.
confirm it with
We'll
them
have-
whether or not
yeah.
it is.
It's kind of like,
Oh, I see what you're saying,
Yeah,
we don't know.
we don't know for sure, so we have to
Okay.
consult.
Okay.
Okay, so we're still going with a roll call vote on Article 15 to recommend based on our recommendation for a value for the increase in the line.
David Walker, yes.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Van Breen, yes.
And John Hayes, yes. Okay, last article on the warrant.
Excuse me, I wanna go back to this. So I thought that if you had a budget and you were gonna amend it, you had to amend it prior to the voting, so many days. I mean, you can spring that on the voter?
We have done it pretty regularly, yes. It's kind of like, if we go back to August, we did this. Right. Now, when you do an article and you approve a line item,
Uh-huh.
that is funding a line, yes, but in the past, I don't think we have been upfront with what is the impact of this article. Does it mean so in this case, where we're voting on a labor line and putting more money into a labor account,
Mm-hmm.
we're changing it. So I think it's valuable to show this is the line that was in the warrant that you voted in May, and now it's gonna be increased by this value. And to explain it. Now, the other part of this that we didn't bring up here, and I probably will, when we add up the two lines for this, we're still running at a 10% lower operating cost for these wages in the building commissioner compared to having the full-time commissioner last year.
Yeah, I see that. So
So-
I see what you're saying.
you
So,
amend that?
so because we're lowering it
Uh,
in the amendment,
The
it's gonna be
amendment,
lower than the $5,000.
It's-
The amendment won't matter.
No, it matters to the line because now we have to change what the budget base is for FY 26.
Yeah.
So ultimately, this line is gonna come in with this additional funding so that we have the 58,000 on the commissioner line and this new value for the 4,250 with the increase, whatever the line is. And I say that we did that in about 4 of the articles in the August 20th, and we've done it multiple other times. We had passed the budget in FY 23, and the town accountant came back later because we showed the full values of lines, including the opera funds, and it was determined that that was an incorrect way to present the budget. So we had to, in September of that year, modify about 12 lines in the budget that adjusted it to reflect the removal of the opera funds that were being used to fund the operating budget.
So that's going down.
That's-
That's reducing the.
In some cases, there was reducing. Did we ever go up on anything? I think we've gone up on lines, but we didn't clearly bring it to the attention of anybody like this. So this is just, we talk about the visibility. This is the visibility into what this article is changing.
Should we amend the motion to say not to exceed a certain amount?
Well, now we're saying that we don't, but now we're trying to discuss about, we don't have the power to do that. It won't matter. We don't know what Nelson's gonna put, we're voting on something we don't know.
Well, then how do we vote on it at all?
We're voting on what we're recommending, and we can modify the motion on the floor. Once it's been made, if it's higher than.
Okay,
than our-
I see, okay.
If it's higher than what we anticipate between the 2,000 and 2,500, if they present 4,500 on the floor and our recommendation is 25, we can make an alternate motion on the floor that we recommend to.
Decreasing it to 2,500.
Correct. And then
Okay, all right,
it-
that's what I didn't understand.
then-
I
yeah.
thought they were the final word. Okay, but they're
No, no,
not.
they're the final, they're the initial presentation to the town
Okay.
floor.
All
That
right,
says our motion is to vote this.
Do you think in the explanation that you're going to put in, that you should put that there's X number of dollars left, this adding it to covers to the,
I think
I
you
think
should
it's
do the
clearer.
math on that. And the 22 or 200 times,
exactly.
52
we can-
times
yeah,
Yeah, I
minus.
just think that it's
Again,
Yeah,
this was,
clearer
this
for
was,
people to
yeah.
understand why,
Yeah,
why the change.
right.
right. We can certainly put that in, just kind of.
Yeah, I
And
think
again,
that'd be nice.
Nelson, I pulled this out today to put in here. I haven't had a discussion with Nelson. Nelson may agree that that's a
Right.
good number.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like, so
All right.
this was our initial discussion at it. After such time that I put it in writing and associated the motion to the line item I had to go back to the warrant and what's posted on the town clerk's website for the approved motion. I pulled out the lines that were associated with this and then tucked them in here so that we have that visibility of exactly what are we changing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good. But I
and
like the
so,
idea
but
that we
we'll-
can amend
we-
the motion based
Yeah,
on our recommendation. Okay, I
anybody,
get it.
anybody can amend the motion on the floor.
Oh,
You know, it's
okay, I
kind of
didn't
like,
realize that.
at town meeting, anybody can make and amend a motion on the floor. You just have to get it in writing and get it back to the town moderator who reads it, and then there's a vote on the amendment to modify the motion.
Okay,
So, town meeting.
thank you. Did we vote? I don't even remember. I think we did.
I've gotten that from visiting town meetings.
Voted at the annual town meeting. So
So
July
the
20.
next
so-
one, we didn't vote on that
We
one,
did not vote on Article 16 either.
no.
Because we were a little confused. Because it came up and we,
Wait a minute, Article 16, we did vote on it. so-
No, we didn't vote on it, we took no action, because we said something
We
about
need something.
last year's cost and who did we pay, and we
Right.
wanted to verify the amount.
Yep.
So vote transfer from
Okay.
free cash, the
Yeah.
sum is 6605.
Okay,
So I assume you got an answer
I
from,
got an answer. It was in, I did forward I thought I forwarded out.
I didn't see it.
yeah, I
but
think you did.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I got this up to
Mhm.
15, I didn't
Yeah.
see 16.
Okay, so, okay, with this, you'll see in the notes that I put together,
Yeah.
you will see a line 790 that we
Yeah.
voted in the budget.
Okay.
The description is general property liability and vehicle insurance
Oh,
and
wow.
workers'
Workers'
comp.
comp, yeah.
And when we look at the BBA, that line is 100% expended today.
Okay,
So, we've got one line for 3 insurances. And I think one insurance was higher than expected and anticipated. And so now the workman's comp is coming in. And if it's an annual, or if it's in every 3 year, there wasn't enough in the budget line to cover it because it's already 100% expended
Expenditure, okay,
in December.
okay.
So this funding would be to add to that line that amount of money. So again, the FY 24 and 25 don't come.
So if we don't pay, does that mean they won't audit us?
It's a requirement, so it's kind of like. so
It's kind of
we
a
have to-
must pay
We
bill.
have to, yeah, so this is putting money into the budget line to pay for this, so it's gonna go into the general property
Yeah.
line so that they can pay it, or it's not just general property, general liability. It's all three of
Oh,
them,
okay.
including workman's comp.
Okay.
So maybe the idea is when we put a budget together, maybe each one should be,
Separate.
I think it
Separate.
should be
Align
separate.
that, yeah.
or maybe all three of them should be in this section under general insurance as its own line
Mm-hmm.
item, so that we don't run into somebody stealing money from somebody else on the three insurances.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Yeah,
I think it should be more
yeah,
delineated.
yeah.
Can we put that as our comment that we?
We recommend
we
that.
can, we recommend that, in the future, and again, we're into the FY 26 planning.
Right.
So
Oh.
that's our recommendation
Right.
for FY 26 planning.
26, yeah.
That,
That, we have that the treasurer. and the
it's at
insurance
the end, but the note will say TA supplies this information. So that it's in her list of insurance liability and in that section, but it's the last one on the line and it says TA will in the notes.
Oh, budgeted by TA.
Yep.
But that's general prop and liability, then there's unemployment,
Right, so that,
Oh,
it's all on the last line.
I think it should be separate.
Yeah.
okay.
But there's nothing we can do about it now because this is how it was done.
This is
And
how the budget was put
Right.
together
Put together,
for
yeah.
FY 25, so for FY 25.
So we
So,
can say in the future, we, for,
For
Right, yeah,
FY
so
20,
FY
FY 26 and out.
So, that'll be our notes going forward, because when you combine things on the line, that's what can happen.
I don't think that's a good idea.
So,
Separate as much as you.
okay, so she gave us her budget, her department budget, so she didn't give us the benefit, so, but this is the benefit budget as well, we didn't really,
Right, it's the benefits except for health that's coming.
Okay,
I'm
and-
sorry, general property liability, vehicle insurance, and workers' comp. And that's
Is
coming
not
from-
on hers.
oh, okay, that's gonna get budgeted by the okay, that gets
Right.
budgeted by the, gotcha,
So
Yeah.
that's when we see that budget from the
Right,
town
right,
administrator.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
All those-
Okay,
all
so
those lines.
what are we doing with, so we're taking the $6,605
Yeah.
from free cash and giving it to,
We're giving it to the general property liability, vehicle insurance, and workers' comp line, specifically for the workers' comp section of this payment. So again, this would be an increase of the 355,000, it would go up by 66, so we're talking,
do you want to make this motion?
no, the motion's gonna be to recommend, the rest of this, I think, is the explanation.
how
Oh,
much money is it?
I'll probably get into.
6605.
6,605, but it covers three different,
No, it
No, it
covers,
only covers
It
the
only covers
workers'
workman's
comp.
comp,
oh,
but because the line
Is-
encompasses all three,
Three.
we have to put it into this line so we can pay the workman's.
That's why
comp.
we're saying for the future, we're gonna separate
Oh,
out
yeah,
those
yeah,
three
yeah.
lines
Mm.
to make it clearer where the money's going.
I'll just vote.
Or,
So-
or again, in the explanation, similar to what, Melissa did, is give us specifically.
Yeah, that would help, that would
I
help
mean, if you're gonna
tremendously.
keep it at one line, give us.
Break the
Then
line
that's
down,
what Gia,
yeah.
Whatever she called it.
Yeah,
the
she did
GSA.
that, she did a great job
Yeah.
with that,
Yeah.
that was very helpful.
So the motion's just to recommend the sum of 6605 from free cash for the purpose of
Yeah.
funding the costs associated with the annual audit of the town's workers'
Right.
compensation program.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just did that.
You-
Who
you
wants to
made the
second it?
motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have Dave Walker with a second. Any additional discussion or questions on that? None being heard, a roll call vote, and in the affirmative, we are recommending that the $6,605 from free cash
Walker, yes.
Carol Mazekas, yes.
Mary Jane Kirkpatrick, yes.
Carol Hall says yes.
Sam Gray, yes.
John Hayes, yes, so unanimous, all against. And then the last two, we did vote it, or we're making no recommendations on planning board articles that are being presented.
Yep.
And that would be our full warrant, so I'll update the recommendation sheet based on the votes today and the input, later, and likely get it out. to you.
I'll probably send you the minutes tomorrow because, well, I have it fresh in my head.
Yeah.
The last time when I didn't have my computer for like 3 weeks, it took me forever to get those minutes. And then it's like, then I was trying to read my head scratching and it's like,
So
holy cow.
are we done then? Because we've got a couple more.
Yeah, I got a couple of, we haven't done any, to review the newsletter, we don't have anything additional. I did want to mention it on the newsletter. I think I sent it out, a little screenshot of the finance committee.
Oh, I saw
webpage.
that, yes, I did see
And
that.
the manuals that we have are online on the finance committee webpage. And so, so in addition to having the hard copies that we have given out to the committee, soft copy is available already online.
Don't you have to pay $24 to get into it?
No,
Oh.
the $24 was to print them and buy them from MMA,
Oh.
but MMA provided us the PDF file, and that's how we printed the manuals. And so now we have that hard copy, and we were talking about making it available to anybody
Yeah.
that wants to reference the information. we
Right.
hard copy of. It is available on the finance committee website under manuals.
Our towns and finance.
Our
committee.
times and finance committee webpage, yeah. The timing was, I went in looking for something at the finance committee webpage and I saw them, and then the next morning I got the note from the webmaster that it was updated and available. So timing wise was right there, so he had just finished it and sent me the update, and I had seen it just hours before receiving that notification, so. And I think Carol was copied on it because anything I do with copy, he just, they have a,
So we are,
reference for.
gonna meet on the 30th, I
We-
see.
Okay, so the newsletter will hold off, but I want to just mention that if and when we're ready, we can post, plus we can post it up on.
Oh, okay. So I didn't, do it because we had all those 5 questions.
Mhm.
So I'll work on it, and try to get it ready.
Okay.
But if you're gonna have the recommendation page for this town meeting, maybe I won't go crazy
Okay.
for this town meeting.
Okay,
I'll think about it. I'll let you know.
okay. And we still don't have the omnibus budget still being put together.
We, I thought I heard you mention earlier that we got the free cash certified for fiscal 24.
We did, if I haven't forwarded out, I'll,
How much, do you know how much
25,
it was?
do I mean 25 days? You mean 25 or 24?
it's 24. The free
24.
cash certification was for fiscal year 24.
For last year's fiscal year?
Yes, they closed in June, when it closes in June, and that's why,
Okay.
when we tie up free cash and put it into a line like this, it's not available for 7 months.
If we don't use it,
If we don't use it.
or is it?
Oh, I forgot.
How
This
much
is
was-
2012. Oh, I forgot. I forgot what year we
How
were
much
in.
was it, how much was it certified for?
I don't know.
Just looking now, you can, see if I can. 628,955.
6,028,009.
628,955.
Really?
Yes, again, because we had the property sales in there from November of 2023. We sold 3 properties. Probably in the range of,
So that would help to balance out that 800.
You gotta,
Well,
Yeah.
we've just voted to transfer from these articles.
Yeah,
All
I
this amount of
understand
money.
Right.
Yeah,
But
So that'll
not
bring
six
down-
hundred thousand
but
yet.
that was before this certification, so this was from the free cash that was.
No, I guess what I'm saying is that we had that great big drama over it being so very short.
We are-
Where was the 628,000 during that
Okay.
episode?
Because it was tied up.
It's kind of, if we're talking operating budget,
Uh-huh,
roughly
uh-huh.
400,000 of that is not available because it's not recurring funds. It's from the sale of a property. It's kind of like, it's one-time funds. You're supposed to support and fund your operating budget with recurring revenues.
Oh, but, so we couldn't, instead of the trash, we couldn't have used this 628,000 instead of the pay-as-you-go thing?
Not really. It's
Okay,
just
all
kinda like-
right,
I mean,
okay,
you,
I get it.
if you wanted it to be included in your tax bill, the answer is no, because 400,000 of that was not recurring revenue. We have to find, the revenue sources have to be recurring. The pay-as-you-throw bag money is recurring. The tax bill.
Oh,
is
and you're
recurring.
saying the
Excise tax.
628,000, so the goal of us, or the budget,
The
is to
budget,
not have $628,000 sitting there for a whole year that you can't use.
Right.
well, that's a piece of it, but of that 628, 400,000 isn't usable because it was a one-time property sale. And you're not gonna have $400,000 worth of property sale.
We're not gonna have that 400,000
yeah,
come in next
Yeah.
year.
No, I know, but we had it, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
so-
understand that it's not gonna come in again, but we had it last year, that's what I'm saying.
But we couldn't use it because
because
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
certified.
certified,
It
so,
was not certified
That's
until.
what I mean.
yeah.
a week ago.
so actually, we have.
So yes, and so now these articles we're putting in next Tuesday, we're gonna go through the process and the steps of potentially getting them listed, getting it to the auction. But if that auction doesn't happen before June, it's not gonna, those sales won't even make it into the FY 25 free cash. They'll be,
In the
the revenues
F-26,
will be in FY 26,
26
which means we'll be into,
27 before we
before
get
you can-
certified.
before, so,
it's kind of like, so timing is everything, and that's probably why we're doing it in the January special town meeting, is to try to push it
To
along.
move along to be there before June.
Right, and again, you can use this money for capital budgets. It's kind of like, can you use it for doing?
This 628,000.
What I'm talking is the portion of it that is one-time funds.
The-
that's from the
Oh,
sale.
yeah,
But we're gonna take 400,000 off the six, we only have 200,000.
You,
I mean-
you have, you had a two, and just to make it easy, it's kind of like, you had, if 400 of this was
One time,
one time,
that we
you
can't use.
had 228,955 of operating budget that you budgeted that you didn't use. So, that's where, tight up budgets.
Well, see, that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's the number that.
Is
would
that
be-
an
would be
average
looking-
number that happens every year? 200,000 usually is like not used or
Two
overused?
to three, yeah, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
What's in our
Because
stabilization?
the stabilization
Yeah.
fund, I don't have the exact number. I think it's around 1.1 million.
1.1, I think
Because
that's
we
what you
were
told me, yeah.
1.2, 1.3, before we transferred out.
So we can minus 400,000.
As far as recurring revenue portion of it, it's kind of like, but that 400,000 could be used for capital. It could be used instead of going out and getting loans if we.
Oh,
if we-
okay,
Yes,
okay.
It's not that it's unusable, but it's not a recurring revenue that can be used to support an operating budget. But
Right.
fire trucks and other things are not.
So we could use it for the 83,000 that we have to find to fund finishing off buying the fire
fire
truck.
truck.
One-time,
Right.
yeah,
Because it's a one-time, that's a one-time expense.
it's a one-time.
This is a
expense.
one-time income,
Yeah,
so it would
so
be
we-
appropriate to possibly use that for that.
for some
Yeah.
of those, and we'll find other items to
So-
to use them for. I mean, to me, some paying back the stabilization that was moved out. We have cracked down, when you look at our town budget and how much we have in stabilization, our percentage of stabilization fund to operating budget is shrinking. It should be going.
Isn't
we
it
aren't
supposed to be
making-
like 10% or?
That's ideal when the auditors are talking, that's the ideal number. It's good for bond ratings and things like that. When you have lower numbers and you start going lower, your bond rating starts going lower too, and you have to pay more in interest. So it's a balance. It's something we probably haven't watched, is we should be doing a chart and publishing total budget stabilization fund and percent of that. So we watch the health of where we are. So that's something new. We haven't seen it before. Time to look at it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And the other thing that's a little disturbing in terms of budgeting moving ahead.
Mhm.
This cost of living thing, does that keep going? I mean, 4% is 8%,
Mhm.
is 12%, is 16% over 40%. That's an uncontrollable cost, right?
But once they sign the contracts, it's known. We see the results of the signed contract, so we don't know what the negotiations are going in. The negotiations going in should be, we only get a guaranteed 2.5% plus new growth in
Do
our.
they,
Yeah, but
They
even
ha-
two and a
they have-
half, it could put you over the.
but they
top.
have a,
Yeah.
like a pay scale, right? So
Mhm.
like for, I don't know, if I think it works something like the federal government, you get the step 1 through 12, and then you go over the years or something, and then your salary goes accordingly.
So we have to really budget for that going out.
We need to.
That can't be a yearly thing.
No, we shouldn't be doing it year to year.
No.
When we look at the budget procedure, and that's gonna be one of the conversations we have to have, is we're supposed to be presented a 5-year forward-looking budget. And we haven't had that. Everything has been year to year.
So we
Because
need
they,
that.
but they
We
should,
need it. We need the visibility, and we should, because that gives you, even if you can't be, you can't be sure 5 years out how far you're going, maybe even 3 years. gets a
No,
little wonky.
but you
But
have
but
a,
you
year.
put a roadmap
yeah,
Yeah,
and a plan, because, what's the plan for growth within the department? Are you gonna need to add people? Are there new?
I can't wait to get to that
I mean,
part.
if there's a
I mean,
pay,
that-
if there's
that's
a
me.
pay scale that goes out so many years or so many
Mhm.
steps, at least you have a baseline.
Right.
Well, that's
So, I
right, if we're
mean-
handcuffed to it by the
It-
union
it's
and the
so-
government.
But at least you can look at 5 years and say, okay, I have this many employees and what step or grade or
Mhm.
whatever
Right.
they're at. So we
The
know,
workforce analysis.
that that's the minimum amount of money for salaries. There might be some cost of living adjustments or stipends in there that change it, but at least you have something that you can work with and have an idea of what you're looking at for a
Right,
minimum.
right, because I can see that alone can escalate
Yeah,
over a 5-year period.
so, all right, do we have any correspondence?
It was really just the, certification for the free cash. Was the note that I got. I'll get that email out to
Did
everybody.
you respond to, Nurse Overtech, anybody?
I thought,
Oh, I forgot about that.
I don't know if I did or not, I'll look and see.
Clint,
I didn't,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
you're-
go
you're-
to that.
Friday, right?
okay.
Friday.
Friday the
It's-
31st.
But next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Are
Oh,
you
did
going?
Did you do it?
I didn't do it yet, I don't think, I gotta look at my computer, I do
Okay,
so
let
much
me
stuff.
know.
I'll let you know, I'll put you in if you go.
Yeah, I think I said yes, I would go. But I forgot until you said it, so.
So there's 4 of us, and it,
Is Sam going?
Sam, are you, ask Sam, Don. he
Oh.
talks to you.
Say again,
Sorry,
am I going where? The meeting?
there is an invitation from the Neshoba Valley Technical
Oh,
High School.
right, no, we talked about that last time. No, thank you, not this time. I've, got too much work to do around here.
Mhm.
Is he coming to the meeting Tuesday night?
Will you be in the building on, the 28th, on the special
11:30
town
and
meeting?
31st.
I'll be there for the meeting, town meeting.
Okay,
At
then we'll
lunch.
see you on Tuesday,
Nine.
No,
Oh,
nine
it's not
a.m.
lunch,
and make
it's
sure this
breakfast.
chair's.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
9 o'clock,
Do we have to
okay.
sit up at the table?
Yes.
yes,
All right.
Yeah. Joe?
I'll do that.
Okay.
If
well,
it's okay,
and-
no
and
one's
that'll
gonna
be-
hurt you, we'll
that'll be good.
protect you.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. When I sit in the back, I can get up and leave whenever
Yeah.
I want to.
Oh, are you Catholic?
No.
It's in the back.
Yeah, back
Okay.
of the church, yes. It's in the
I-
back pew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only things we had other meetings we had discussed in the February timeframe. I didn't get them on here. And that,
Do you know those dates yet, in February?
I think of one of the earlier minutes I had put today.
If you can email them out
Yeah,
tonight, or tomorrow, or whatever. that's
Yeah.
fine.
So we have the 30th is 6 o'clock,
Okay.
Right.
again, because the special town meeting is Tuesday. At this point, Nelson is trying to coordinate with us in the board of selectmen through February, because the days we're gonna have joint meetings.
Are we having joint meetings with the Board of Selectmen?
With Board of Selectmen.
Do we get to
regarding
ask
budget.
questions and things like that?
Yeah,
What day is it?
yeah. Well, that
Nelson
has to
doesn't
be
know yet.
determined. So that's one of the items for the 30th. I had thrown out that we're meeting at 6 o'clock on the 30th to see if Board of Selectmen want to meet to plot the schedule for February.
Oh,
It's that way.
okay.
So then, for sure, and I do have a few dates.
11 February is a meeting with the fire EMS. and
That's what we had requested, that if the Board of Selectmen are gonna wanna do it on a different day.
Day, okay,
Oh,
okay.
So we might need to be flexible with those.
is it always a Tuesday and or a Thursday?
It's, for us, it was the Thursday meetings were when the select board, which is the first and third Tuesdays, when select board was meeting on that Tuesday, we were gonna meet on Thursday.
So it's every other.
Yeah, so every other week, we go Thursday, Tuesday, through the month.
Are you gonna send us?
Yeah, I'll send you, yeah, that's why, because we can't meet every Tuesday because we'd be in direct conflict with the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
However, if they want us to invite to the Finance Committee and do the joint at one of their meetings, then we'll be Tuesday and potentially leave the Thursday.
Okay.
So we'll try to meet once a week as long as we get the schedule done. And the Tuesday, Thursday thing is gonna have to be.
So we don't know who we're gonna be meeting with at the next meeting after the January 30th.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like we're gonna have that conversation, but we can, as early as we can. And hopefully next Thursday, we can set with the schedule so that we can do the invitations to give the department heads.
That sounds good.
Okay, so
Slow work.
another one,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
we need the time?
9:03.
Okay, okay, we had a
3
motion to
hours.
adjourn at 9:03
well,
and a second.
you have a lot to have, ask the job about.
Any, roll call vote to
Jones,
adjourn.
yes.
David Walker, yes.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Cam Grant, yes.
John Hayes, yes, it's unanimous. We're
It's
adjourned.
over.